I heard about it today, because I haven't been keeping up fully with it, but I have been keeping up with it here and there. That Ashes of Creation is no longer going to be funded, basically. That's what it comes down to. So right now, the individuals and anyone who purchased Ashes of Creation are basically at a loss in terms of what to do or what they can do. So we're gonna dive into the whole Ashes of Creation drama, or basically the news, I should say, not the drama. I don't want to create this like this is not going to be a drama video. This is not going to be a drama stream. It's going to be just looking at what happened, and I'm trying to figure out what happened, because as I mentioned, I haven't followed the development or anything of Ashes of Creation, other than the fact that I considered getting an Alpha 2 key sometime in 2024, 2025. I can't remember. It's been a while. And I obviously didn't end up doing that. And then when it got released on Steam, and let's take a look at the Steam store here. Let's see what it says for Ashes of Creation. It got released on Steam store. I didn't purchase it either. I was thinking about it, but it didn't go on sale. It was for $64.99, and I thought that was a steep price to pay to play the game and continue playing it. You know, without it being in a state where I thought I could play it properly. So yeah, that's this Ashes of Creation. That's the lowdown of what's going on. There's been some news related to the fact that the CEO, Stephen Sharif, has resigned, and that was the big news. And with him, the majority of the developers and the original team also resigned. And Margaret Crone, and I'm familiar with her from back in PlanetSide 2 days, when she was the marketing director or creative director for that, or maybe even the community manager for that. I don't remember what her role there was. So I remember her being part of the PlanetSide 2 community. And she's always seemed like a nice person. So I don't know what went down, and I don't believe she said anything. She said that it's not for her to say, from what I read. And it just comes down to, you know, figuring out what's going on with this. So let's start with the Steam page first of all, and we'll work backward. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the Kickstarter. So this was the Kickstarter for Ashes of Creation. It launched, or the last update was in 2017, so almost 10 years ago, and it was backed and fully backed to a tune of $3.27 million. Let's take a look at what the video for this says, because this is important for context.
Hey guys.
Give me a sec. I'm not sure why it's lagging like that. I'm going to stop the stream and restart it. Alright, I restarted the stream, so it should be working.
My name is Stephen Sharif, and I'm the creative director here at Intrepid Studios. We're working on an upcoming MMORPG named Ashes of Creation. And I'm pretty excited to share with you today on this Kickstarter what we're all about. Ashes of Creation is an open world, non-faction based MMORPG set in a high fantasy world. One of the reasons that I started Intrepid Studios to create Ashes of Creation is because I myself am a gamer. I've been a gamer playing MMORPGs since I was 7 years old, and I've really never experienced a community quite like what MMORPGs have to offer. It's a diverse community. There's a lot of people involved. I mean, thousands of players from across the world, and it was just such a passion of mine to be able to experience that involvement in a game like an MMORPG. Over the past several years, having played MMORPGs, I was kind of not impressed with what has been coming out of the genre. A lot of pay-to-win, cash grab style games.
That seems like the biggest concern and the biggest gripe for everyone involved. This feels like it might have been a cash grab. That's the issue. So what is going on here? I lost my mouse. Okay. Okay, there we go.
Games, and I just felt that there could be something better. And, if you want to get things done right, sometimes you just have to do them yourself. So in order to accomplish these goals for Ashes of Creation, I really needed to find a team that...
Okay, you get the idea. The video's on the Kickstarter, but basically, Stephen Sharif started this project because he wanted to, complete a game and have it delivered to anyone who wanted to play it. And basically, what has happened is now the entire studio is shut down, and well, nobody knows what's going to happen. It's by all accounts basically a dead game now. And one other thing, the key point I wanted to touch on here is, like, obviously this looks really good. Looks like it's going to be a fun game. And these are the points that I wanted to touch on. We're a team of MMORPG veterans brought together under one flag with one goal in mind: to finally advance the genre. There's over 40 years of MMO experience here in this office, and we have the experience and the know-how to get this project done. So these are the things that they mentioned: PlanetSide 2, that I'm pretty sure is Margaret Kron, or Kron. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Was she part of it from the get-go? It doesn't look like it. So there was Steven, John, Jennifer, Jeffrey, Jason, Tristan. Okay, cool. So all of these individuals, 1 month of game time, and people were paying for game time as well. That's the other aspect of this. And why Kickstarter? We've got private backing that will allow us to produce a core viable product. What Kickstarter will allow us to do is expand the scope and give our team flexibility and room to breathe. To really give us the opportunity to create exactly what we want, crowdfunding also allows us to connect directly with the community and to keep us accountable to those who matter most, the players. Come help us bring MMOs into the future and make the game I know all of us want to play. From the ashes, MMOs will rise again. And only until 2026, it looks like. Risks and challenges. Game design is inherently risky, and massively multiplayer role-playing games are probably the most challenging genre in the industry, which is a true statement. We are a team of veterans who are aware and have lived through these challenges, and we're coming at this project with the kind of expertise that allows us to mitigate and manage them. More importantly, we see this as a project as a way for us to do it right. However, we are not oracles, and unforeseen problems will almost certainly rear their ugly head. We have accounted for these unknowns in our budget and schedule, but in the event that is not enough, we will be open and honest about what those issues are and how we're going to address them. We also may find that certain systems and mechanics that we're talking about today simply aren't fun or good for the health of the game. In those cases, be aware that the game may change in fundamental ways as we work through feedback, testing, blah, blah, blah. All generic stuff there. With that all being said, we are aware of these risks and challenges and are confident in our ability to release Ashes of Creation as a finished product. So this is the key right here. It's as a finished product. Come hell or high water, we're going to get this done. These are our promises to you. To continue our open development process with you, our backers on our website and Discord channels. And finally, in the case of Ashes of Creation does not launch, we promise to refund all backers in full. So the key here is in one sentence they've said Ashes of Creation as a finished product. Would a alpha or an early access game be considered a finished product? I would argue that no, especially considering that they haven't even reached beta. But this final statement does not launch, and then it launches on Steam. It's a bit iffy out there. And questions about their products. Let's take a look at the FAQ. Okay, so right here, what's the difference between what is persistent alpha? What do the different alpha and beta phases mean? We'll be doing continual testing of our game until launch. Alpha and beta tests are included in this plan. Alpha 1 will be our very first closed test, followed by Alpha 2, Beta 1, and Beta 2. They will take place in the order, but exact dates of each are not available. Alpha 2 will remain active in a persistent state till launch. Then will become our public test server. If you have a key from our weekly drawings, those keys give you access to our weekend NDA alpha starting in Q4 2017. So I want to take a look to see Alpha 2. When did Alpha 2 end or start? Early access guy, let's take a look at this. This seems to be playing better than the Kickstarter video. That was lagging a lot.
It is an opportunity to join us on the journey towards launch and help us refine, improve, and evolve Ashes of Creation into the game it's meant to become. During this testing period, your discoveries, bug reports, and feedback will help us refine systems, enhance.
It's lagging. When will it happen though? Are they still selling this? Let's take a look. They're literally still selling this. Shouldn't it be delisted? That's ridiculous. When did Alpha 2 end? Not interested. As of early 2026. Let's read this. This might be interesting because if Alpha 2 hasn't ended, then it's not a finished game. It's not released. Hi, everyone. Been following Ashes for a while. I'm tempted to get an Alpha 2 key for Phase 3, which is May 1st. However, I would like to know more in particular when will Alpha 2 last. Intrepid says A2 will last at least a year, but did they say a year from October 25th, 2024 or a year from May 1st, 2025? Thing is, I travel a lot for work all summer from May to beginning, blah, blah, blah. Alpha 2 Phase 3 will last at least a year. Let's take a look. When was this?
Yeah, and along with those things, you will see, surveys that may come your way. You will see forum posts where we're looking for feedback and we're compiling it. We may do office hours where we're trying to gather feedback on a specific topic. So you'll be seeing us interacting with you guys a lot on the.
So it looks like the Phase 1, 2, and 3 would be May 25th. Now let's take a look. Alpha 1, Alpha 2.
Alpha 2 with a little map.
PV, okay, that's fine. Opening Alpha 2 access. Standard feature, studio culture, gameplay loop, live streams, outro. Okay. So Alpha 2 would be starting in October or May of 2025. When did it end though? I'm going to do Ashes of Creation Alpha 2. Overview. News. This was January 28th, 2026. Okay. So this was a late letter basically saying early access guide for December 11th. Update with Steam. Okay, so this is the key post, I think. This is the one that we need to look at. Hi, Mockbay 2. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I hope I pronounced that correctly. Please let me know if I didn't. And I honestly don't know. So, based off of my reading of things, just based off of the fact that I know that his family was involved in MLMs, that for me personally instantly tells me that that individual is probably not the most trustworthy individual. That being said, there have been takes from others that I've seen where they believe that Stephen Sharif wanted to make this game great, and the only reason it exists is because of him and the team. That being said, I honestly don't know. That's why I'm trying to do a deep dive on this, because I was interested in Ashes of Creation. I wanted to play it. I didn't take the plunge, but now I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened, and I want to do my own digging, and try to figure out what likely is next. I did watch a few videos, but they seem very sensationalist, and I don't like that. Like, I don't like it when it's, jumping to conclusions, considering we don't know everything yet. I think what's happened so far is basically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that the team is gone. Everyone's gone. Literally everyone's gone. And apparently the Intrepid was sold already to a private equity firm without anyone knowing, or something along those lines. I could be wrong on that. That's what I've read so far. And the latest news from Stephen Sharif, was that the board was making decisions. But then I did see this, and I think this was interesting. Where is it? I think it was in this one. So this was yesterday. Somebody posted that the board of directors for Intrepid Studios is just Stephen Sharif. So him saying that the board was making incorrect decisions, if this is to be believed, I haven't personally looked it up myself, but if this is to be believed, then he was the board. I'm always hopeful. I think there will be someone or a team that comes around that does it. I'd like to think that there are people who are passionate about the genre and who want to make a game that's for the people and brings back, the nostalgia of the old school MMOs. I personally still play Lord of the Rings Online, because it's the first MMO I ever played, and one that I really got into. I never really got into WoW. So it's one of those, and obviously I would like for a new MMO to come out that's that scratches that itch and builds those long-lasting relationships. I still talk to a lot of the Lost Army members. Well, not as often as I would like anymore, but I still, see the messages on Facebook and interact once in a while. So it kind of builds lifelong friendships. It's awesome. So I'm hoping there's some hope for the Western MMO genre. I mean, there are already some good ones. Like Guild Wars is pretty good. World of Warcraft, obviously, people have their gripes. I've never played it, so I can't answer to that. Lord of the Rings Online obviously has a lot of flaws as well. So no game's going to be perfect, but there are some, and I'm sure there will be another one that comes that will be good. What about yourself? Do you think there's any hope for Western MMOs? So what I was thinking was, because of this little FAQ in the Kickstarter, they said, okay, so there's a few things. Campaign. So in the campaign at the bottom, it says, if it does not launch, we promise a full refund. I know a lot of people have already come out and said nobody's going to get any money. They've launched on Steam and that's what it counts. But they also say, alpha 1 and 2 are not really launching, I think, is not considered launching. It's like testing phases, right? And then in beta, it goes into beta 2 and beta 1 and 2, and then it launches after that. So if we were just in alpha 2, we technically haven't launched, right? Our journey through Vera is growing, and we couldn't be more excited to expand the platform, make it easier for testers around the world to join the adventure. So I think language here kind of, and look, by wishlisting and following Ashes Creation Alpha 2 on Steam, you'll stay up to date on all latest announcements, release plans, and key updates. So they didn't consider it a release. I think there is standing to argue that this was not a release. So I think it's possible, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen if there's a class action lawsuit, that the backers should be able to get their money back. I think it's pretty explicit here. As we prepare for our biggest alpha update yet, we want to keep you informed about what's coming next, how testing will work, and Steam means for you and your account. Below you'll find a full breakdown of our upcoming schedule. So Alpha 2, November 15th to 16th, November 26th to December 1st. PTR testing, November 17th to December, focus on testing, update and early access launch. Okay, never mind. They consider it a launch. Full Alpha 2 wipe. All Intrepid and Steam users will play via Steam. PTR will continue as needed and will also be accessible via Steam. Yes, all users will be required to move to Steam. Why early access? React to one of the evolves based on player activity that makes community testing a core part of our development. Early access allows us to bring testers directly into Vera during key stages of system building, whether that's settlement progression, economy loops. By engaging with the community early, we gather critical feedback. Blah, blah, blah. Early access begins December 11th and continue until the game reaches the level, quality, stability, and content depth we expect for launch. So again, in this, their wording suggests that the early access is not a launch. So I think, and following that, there's no fixed end date. The roadmap ahead includes progressing from Alpha 2 into Beta 1, then Beta 2, and eventually a full release once we feel Ashes of Creation delivers the experience the community deserves. So I think it's going to be argued that this was not a launch, and I think anyone who backed on Kickstarter will get their money back, and I think Steam's going to refund everybody as well. This is my take, and I think that's what's going to happen. Just based off of how they worded this, if they, I don't think, or any reasonable judge or lawyer will look at this and say, no, this was a launch, guys. This was a launch. This is early access. They didn't consider a launch because they explicitly state here that we're going to go into beta 1, then we're going to go into beta 2, and eventually we'll do a full release. And again, what is the current state of the early access version? And how will the full version... Okay, that doesn't really matter. But this is, I think, another key point. Ashes of Creation is currently in active alpha testing, meaning many systems are still in flux and subject to change. Testers should expect unstable builds, incomplete content, placeholder elements, and regular balance adjustments. Realm wipes will occur when necessary to support testing and data collection. In a fully launched MMO, I can't remember ever having a wipe. Has there ever been a wipe? There have been movements from one persistent server to another, but there hasn't been a wipe. It is a testing experience rather than a polished game. So I think there's a lot here that would allow for a class action lawsuit to work out in the favor of the people that purchased Ashes of Creation. Okay, and this, what is changing with the refund policy? Beginning with purchase was made on or after November 14th, our refund policy will align with Steam's guidelines. Purchases may be refunded within 14 days as long as they have fewer than 2 hours playtime. This applies regardless of whether the testers are Steam or Intrepid users. So, Steam will refund anyone who buys it on Steam, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do that. Gabe's pretty good about that. Steam's pretty good about that. But this kind of seems a little like a way of them getting out of the Kickstarter stuff, but I don't know how this will play out in court. I'm sure there will be a class action lawsuit. But there's a lot here in favor of being refunded, I think. If I'm a Kickstarter pre-order, how will I upgrade my bundle after the move to Steam? You will be able to continue to do so via the website and in-game after you launch via Steam. You will be able to open the shop where you will be able to upgrade. Note that payment options may be different on website or via the in-game shop through Steam. So just based off of all of this, I think there's a valid case to be had for refunding the Kickstarter because they explicitly state in case it does not launch. And they've said in that post that they don't consider early access a launch. It's a testing phase. There will be beta 1, beta 2. So I think there's a lot there that could come back to hopefully save anyone who backed it on Kickstarter, especially people who did like the large bundles here. Founder early, 1,000 people paid 143, 1,100 people paid 150. So yeah, there were a lot of backers that paid a lot of money. That should be most likely, based off of everything I've read so far, should be able to get a refund. I still can't believe this just ended just like that. It's odd. This game seemed like it was going to get to the finish line. It really did. I was just waiting for a sale. I probably would have dove in on like a Steam sale. Now, I'm going to read through the subreddits and so on to see what happened. So this was the letter from Sharif. Control of the company shifted away from me, and the board began directing actions that I could not ethically agree with or carry out. As a result, I chose to resign in protest rather than lend my name to or authority to decisions I could not ethically support. Following my resignation, much of the senior leadership team resigned. Following those departures, the board made the decision to issue WARN Act notices. What's a WARN Act? Worker adjustment and retraining notification is U.S. labor law requiring employees with 100 plus employees to provide 60 days advance notice of plant closings or mass layoffs. So they gave WARN Act notices. I cannot responsibly speak to further details at this time. What is this?
Imagine being able to build an app with your
video?
name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what...
Okay, what up, friendos? Welcome back. This is a really difficult topic to talk about because I recorded a video about Ashes of Creation earlier today, and I was just talking about like the drama.
Oh, okay, so I think this is the one where basically they or Kira got some information on it. He said about 1 minute's worth of content in 14 minutes. Oh, 14 minutes of nothingness, blah, blah, blah. You can't be bothered to make a new thumbnail for years now, it feels, and you're expecting game footage in the video from him. We can finally get another video with him face palming in the thumbnail. We haven't had... Okay, people are just hating on Kira, it looks like. I can't imagine every game the last whale has died. So this from the Wayback Machine, I think, or like somebody took a picture of this. This was Stephen Sharif. I think as a player, there are two main aspects of Ashes that some people excited. First, what we are making, basically risk versus reward. Second, who we are. We are not governed by greedy corporate overlords. I'm funding the project, so no investors or board to answer to. So he said this 4 years ago, but apparently there was a board and not just him. So that's kind of interesting in itself. That doesn't really look too good. Sounds like leadership needed to make game faster than people are arguing about why he should have just, done it. I don't understand this. Like, I understand, actually I do understand from one angle. You're trying to, be the voice of reason when everyone's angry and they have their pitchforks out. But then again, if someone's made a statement like this and they don't let, there's no transparency on a board apparently that's being answered to now, that seems a little odd to me, especially when you say that you're trying to build a community and you're trying to be forthcoming, you're trying to, work together, collaborate, and build a game. Don't say that then. If it's just going to be you building the game, you shouldn't be saying that, right? And thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, Sammy. Okay, actually, never mind. It's a bot. I'm gonna ban it. The message was basically, ready to boost your channel? I can hook you up with a Twitch legend who grows streamers' audience with real viewers, lively chat, and dedicated supporters. Hit him up on Discord and say Sammy sent you. Yeah, no thanks. Appreciate the follow, but the bots don't really help me. Anyways, everybody's pockets have a bottom somewhere, and funding a game studio for 10 years isn't cheap. But then you shouldn't be saying that you're funding it yourself if you're not. Like, why are you holding out to be something that you're not? That seems disingenuous to me, and I think people should be held accountable for that. Sounds like leadership needed to make a game faster then, and I agree with this statement as well. If leadership know roughly how much money they have, they can know how many people can work. From there, they have to decide what features to make. Cutting room or features make the cutting room floor. It seems like they were not more willing to renege on their promise of not having a board than some gameplay. I agree with this statement. I think they reneged on a promise that people, backed for. If they said they were never going to answer to a board, they were going to have creative freedom, they should have kept that and not had that happen. The 4 jobs in one role specification. Okay, funding game studio. Yes, it's just stupid. They were trying to make an MMO inspired, but failed MMOs in the past MMO world, in a post MMO world. I don't think we're in a post MMO world. I disagree with that. I think we're in a world where people want connection more than before. I mean, just with the rise of AI companionship, people talk about how they can talk to their AI chatbot about anything. And all they're really getting responses from is an LLM, which is telling them what they want to hear and being like, yeah, this is probably what sounds best, and this is what I'm going to say. I think people want community. People want to belong, and I think MMOs provide that, and I think it's pretty important. And I disagree with this. This is a bad take. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, fade to black. Yeah. I haven't been following this for a couple of years. Wasn't this the most highly anticipated MMO in the market right now? Yeah, that was me as well. I was following it from afar, trying to see if I wanted to get in. Dramatic has it. But it was also an MMO run by an MLM guy. Yeah, that's true. That's the biggest thing. That was the biggest. Like, as soon as I found out that he was a MLM person and his family was involved in an MLM, I kind of became more apprehensive about pulling the trigger and going in. But the team was able to put together enough mock-ups that at least had hope for those 10 years. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this is no Star Citizen. With Star Citizen, at least they're transparent. They're like transparent about what they're spending their money on. Like, that Chris Roberts bought another house, for example. So even though they're making a lot of money and they're getting a lot of backers and they've got a lot of subscribers monthly paying into the game, they're actually delivering and they're transparent more so than Ashes ever was. And I think that was the big concern for me as well. Is like, I don't know what they're developing on. Like, every stream I would watch here and there, like I haven't watched all of them, but I noticed that they were just pushing like, oh, these are the new art assets, this is what we have in the store. And it's like, you're an alpha, why are you selling stuff in store? If it was like a full release or even in early access, I'm okay with it, because early access technically should be a full release. If you're an alpha 2, you shouldn't even be in early access on Steam. I don't know how they passed that sniff test for Steam to get into early access or as an early access title when they were just looking for testers. It should have been a demo at best or something like that, where they were testing certain things. I think that would have been the right way to do it. I think launching on Steam was kind of a way to get past the whole, get past the whole full launch thing. Someone didn't know what an MLM was. MLM is a multi-level marketing company or pyramid scheme, basically. A wife here. My husband paid to be a tester for this game. Yes, I mocked him, and now it ended up like I thought it would be, despite all those marketing vibes or videos. I would come to him while he's playing, and his FPS would dip all the time while the game looked like shit. In the meantime, I remember a few years ago, he watched a video about how they were adapting UE5 and how the game is going to look awesome. All he did was kill mobs most of the time. He said he had fun, but damn, can't dismiss the sunk cost fallacy. Yeah. Yeah. He sold miracle water to cancer patients. Dude's going to the lowest. Oh my god, is that what he actually sold? Steven Sharif MLM. So this was back a year ago. Somebody posted this on Reddit. Ashes of Creation is a scam. Here's some evidence. Intrepid Studios is suspended by FTB. What? This was a year ago? This was a year ago. There's something suspicious about Ashes of Creation. The difference is now we can see the documentation that something doesn't add up at all. And what better way to see it than at the financial level? Ashes of Creation suspended. I'm going to mark it here. So this is like the suspension. Suspended. It has several liens, bank loans, and debts. These are essentially outstanding debts to which company properties are linked liabilities. This can simply include loans granted to companies or entities for which they have used guarantees, their own or others, to support it. It's very common for these things to appear. But it's striking to see that the company has indeed received external financing. So a year ago, people were starting to see that it had external financing. Debtor name, Intrepid Studios. Debtor address, debtor name, Sharif Steven. Secured party name, Jason Karamanis. This was a day ago. Karen Borieko, new owner of Ashes of Creation Debts, was a co-founder of Venma, a company that sold dietary supplements. The company was shut down in 2015 by the FTC for engaging in deceptive practices and being a pyramid scheme. Oh my god, are you kidding me? So, oh god. These comments are pretty funny though. There's always someone who makes light of the situation. Non-US person here. How does this work? Does this mean that this person who used to lead to subject cancer dies, which was inherited the company? Not quite. This person has filed a lien against the assets as described in the collateral description. Intrepid would need to default on their obligation. Karen would need to enforce security interests. They would only get the assets they managed to collect, non-ownership. Ah, okay. So Steven took money from all these people. Then he said that they were telling him to do things that he didn't want, but then there's no other board. He's the only board member. It's not adding up. It's not adding up at all. This is not what this is. Yeah, what do you... This is a lien against the company. Karen is a secure creditor for one of the 5 active liens. Just means Karen is eligible to receive repayment ahead of all unsecured creditors. Yeah, that makes sense. So she had given him money, basically, it looks like. So it's an active lien. It'll lapse in 2031. So this one's already lapsed. That is messed up, though. I wanted to see Karamanis Jason, actually. Karamanis Jason. Jason Karamanis. Huh? I don't want to click on this link in case. I don't really trust this site. So I'm going to go back. Ashes of Illusion. The undisclosed investor behind Intrepid Studios. In May 2017, Ashes of Creation exploded on Kickstarter. Okay, Sharif, blah blah blah. This is a good timeline. Let's go over this timeline. Okay. So this is the timeline of everything that happened with the undisclosed investors and so on. In May 2017, Ashes of Creation exploded onto Kickstarter. The campaign promised a new kind of MMORPG, ambitious, community-driven, and self-funded. Players rallied to the pitch, pledging more than $3.2 million to bring the project to life. On May 1st, 2017, the day Kickstarter launched, Stephen Sharif wrote to the community, "I intend to use those funds to bring in additional team members who can focus on building the game, as well as include certain systems that I think will fit well into our design. I am primarily self-funding the project, but if necessary, I have made some very good friends in my previous business endeavors who are dying to invest." Okay, so he did mention this at the outset. Okay. The message positioned Kickstarter support as supplemental rather than essential. Sharif presented the project's foundations as secured through his own financing, with investors presented as only a possibility if needed. On May 4th in 2017, he reinforced the point. The project is being funded by myself. This is going to be a bigger game content-wise than Crowfall, and our budget and funding reflects that. That theme carried forward into 2019. In March 7th, in a Discord Q&A, Sharif explained, "Most software development banks will not leverage as they don't like that risk. Usually outside funds are raised through venture capitalists because they are risk-oriented. However, it isn't something I have done." 4 years later, the narrative remained unchanged. Sharif shared his message in May 2021 in a May 2021 Reddit post. "I'm funding the project, so no investors are aboard to answer to, no publishers to appease." It was a powerful reassurance, a promise that Ashes of Creation was free from the compromises that come with corporate publishers or investor pressure. Even as Sharif was making those assurances, public filings and court documents reveal a more complicated reality. Behind the scenes, Intrepid Studios already had outside creditors, one who would eventually claim a stake in the fledgling development studio. In 2015, Intrepid Studios filed its articles of incorporation with the California Secretary of State. The document authorized the company to issue 10 million shares of common stock, a standard placeholder for ambitious startups. On February 23rd, 2017, several months before the Kickstarter campaign, financing arrangements for Intrepid Studios began to appear. According to court filings, Jason Karamanis, through a Yaya Legacy Trust, entered into agreements with Intrepid Studios for a principal amount of $1 million at a 5% interest rate with 8 fixed interval payments. At each fixed interval, Karamanis had the option to postpone payment or to convert any portion of the amount into Intrepid Studios common stock. Additionally, the original deal allowed for the Yaya Legacy Trust to invest up to an additional $1 million into Intrepid Studios. Okay, in and of itself, this is a fairly common financing solution for startup companies, where the startup exchanges equity for capital. However, for Intrepid Studios, whose chief executive officer had repeatedly stated he was financing the project, it might have raised questions if anyone outside of the company had known about it. That is sketch. That is super sketch. The fact that he was actively lying to everybody, saying that it was all his money, even before the Kickstarter started, that's I'm starting to think Stephen Sharif planned to not really finish this game at this point. And this is just, I know I'm jumping like to a completely different conclusion here. But if you're lying about this, what else are you lying about is what I'm trying to get at. Are you trying to, like, I don't trust anything you say at this point, because if you're saying that you're funding this yourself and you already have someone who's got an interest in your company because they loaned you money, that's a big red flag. And you're actively going out there and saying that no one else is funding it. That 2017 promissory note was amended on March 9th, 2018, which altered the conversion process from common stock to preferred stock. So even better priority. Okay. I wonder if you got more money for that. Between March 9th, 2018 and March 5th, 2019, the investment clause appears to have been executed as evidenced by the March 5, 2019 letter from Beverly Hills Law Corp on behalf of the Yaya Legacy Trust, notifying Stephen Sharif that the trust has exercised their conversion rights, making them a 4.4% shareholder of Intrepid. Yaya Legacy Trust. Okay, let's look these guys up. I'm gonna look into this after. Okay, yeah, Legacy Trust. So this was posted like in September. How did this not get more views or more exposure?
Did you know you can AFK?
Let me see. 6.2k views. That's all I got. How did this not get more views? How did this not get more views?
Bloods and Zaya whilst learning to code in Python. Go
I'm gonna
to
watch this video.
boot.dev.
Alrighty, folks, let's jump in the time machine. Let's go all the way back to 1 May 2017 when Ashes of Creation was first doing their Kickstarter. You will see here in an interview with Justin from Massively Overpowered. What was Steven going to use the money for from Kickstarter? I intend to use those funds to bring on additional team members who can focus on building the game, as well as include certain systems that I think will fit well into our design. I am primarily self-funding the project, but if necessary, I have made some very good friends in my previous endeavors who are dying to invest. We jump a couple of days forward, interview with Bree, story from Bree. This project is being funded by myself currently. This is going to be a bigger game content-wise than Crowfall, and our budget and funding reflects that. Sounds good. Let's jump ahead again to March 7th, 2019. Steven was asked about funding for game development. Steven says, most software development banks will not
We've covered
leverage
this. Let's keep going.
baseline. We've got our base statements here that show us when what was said. When Intrepid formed as a corporation. They have Inc. in their name, which is for startup from Yaya Legacy Trust. This was now a creditor, not an investor. They are not an investor yet.
Yep.
$1 million at a 5% compounding annual interest rate. It also allowed Yaya Legacy Trust, if a payment date came due and the payment was not made, they had the option to convert the due payment into equity at 0.275% on each payment, up to a maximum of 2.2% of the common stock of the company. They also had a subsequent investment clause that allowed Yaya Legacy Trust to invest an additional $1 million. Later on March 9th, 2018, this promissory note was actually amended, and in the right to convert, you will notice some key language. It changed the common stock to preferred stock of the company. You will notice in a letter sent to Intrepid Studios on March 5th, 2019, pursuant to the note and amendment, my client hereby formally gives you the notice that is decided to exercise its conversion rights in these documents, such that as of the date of this letter, Yaya Legacy Trust is now a 4.4% shareholder of Intrepid, with such stock being preferred stock of Intrepid and having the anti-dilution provision at the valuation of Intrepid as of February 23rd, 2017.
Wow. So they even had anti-dilution in there. Okay. Let's keep going. I'm gonna give this, the flowers that it deserves by watching it in full later, because right now it's lagging the stream, unfortunately. So we'll continue with this. So in itself, fairly common financing solution for startup companies. However, for Intrepid Studios, whose chief executive officer had repeatedly stated he was financing the project, it might have raised questions if anyone outside the company knew about it. So they became 4.4% shareholder of Intrepid. On August 21st, 2019, Intrepid Studios, via stock purchase agreement, sold another 53 shares of preferred stock. Thank you for the follow, Mr. Oh shoot, I didn't catch the name. I hate it when this happens. Sorry. Come on. I gotta pull up Twitch quickly to see. I want to thank you properly. Mr. Man, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm surprised that this video didn't get as many views. That's very shocking to me. Like it goes into details about everything, which is insane. And the fact that it didn't get the views that it deserves. So at that point, on August 21st, 2019, there was a stock purchase agreement, sold another 53 shares, a 5.3% share for a total of $2.2 million, bringing the Yaya Legacy Trust ownership up to 9.7%. So they were trying very hard not to, I think the threshold is 10%, where you have to file a Form 10K, right? What ownership percentage triggers disclosure for a private company? Okay, 25% or more is what it's saying. I thought it was 10%. Maybe that's for public companies. Okay, so right here. Insiders. People who have certain relations with a company that is a reporting issuer. Okay, so that's for publicly traded. It looks like for private companies, it's 25% or more voting rights attached. Considering they were preferred stockholders, I would think they would be getting close to that threshold at this point. Well, 9.7, I guess, is not quite there yet. On June 14, 2024, Karamanis, acting as trustee of the Yaya Legacy Trust, filed a lawsuit in San Diego Superior Court against Intrepid Studios. In this lawsuit, Karamanis alleges he was denied access to the financial books and records of Intrepid Studios, including but not limited to a list of shareholders, meeting minutes for all meetings for the previous 3 years, statements of cash flow, balance sheets, and all bank statements for the preceding 3 years. So in 2024, I'm with Karamanis here. Like, he invested $2 million into this company through Yaya Trust, Legacy Trust, and he didn't have access to where all that money was being spent or where the financial health of the company was. That's a big red flag for him as well. I mean, if you put $2 million into something, even if you put like 10 grand into something, you want to know what's going on. The filings leave unanswered questions, such as why did Intrepid Studios not use the Kickstarter money to pay off their $1 million initial debt? I agree. Why didn't they just pay it off? That's what I was thinking. Like, you've made 3.2, and even if you take the fees from Kickstarter and everything out of there, you probably end up with like close to 2 something, right? 2 million something, 2 point something million. You could easily pay that loan off. But why didn't they? Why did they elect not to make payments, allowing them a full 4.4% conversion? Why did a company that claims transparent development not allow Karamanis to see records of the company that he, via his trust, was a partial owner of? Those questions cannot be answered from the court filings, and Intrepid Studios did not file any documents prior to Karamanis asking for the case to be dismissed without prejudice. I'm assuming they paid him. That's the only reason he would dismiss the case. This lawsuit was not the last time Yaya Legacy Trust appeared in Intrepid's records. A later UCC filing involving the trust will be addressed in a follow-up article, pending relevant information. Intrepid Studios, via their in-house press email, was offered an opportunity to respond to the story and did not respond. All information in this article is based on public filings and court documents available as of the date referenced. Current ownership or financing structure of Intrepid Studios may have changed since those filings. That is insane. That is actually insane. Paradox Gaming Net, these guys are awesome. Like, I did not know they have been doing this for a while. They've done Arcage, Ashes of Creation. Let's see what other videos they have. September 19th. Accused of masquerading, time to clear the air. So that's the last time they covered it. Actually, September 29th, 2025. I want to see what this article's about. Every time I think I am free of Ashes of Creation, I get pulled back in. Happy birthday to me. I guess being Karthos, a longtime community member, redeeming 50,000 Paradox points and requesting their Viewer's Choice segment. I like to see you make a video on Ashes of Creation doing marketing for their upcoming alpha. To do that, we need to take a quick look at their most recent live stream. This is also something that we get to use to litmus test some of these systems, not within the, I don't want to call it unnecessarily, not within the core golden cohort, right? You guys who are on the stream right now, the 2,500 people who are watching, 50, 60, 70,000 people who watch this Twitch recording and or live stream on YouTube, you're a very core audience. You are very invested. You like this game. You're sold on kind of what we're trying to achieve. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here right now. That sounds cultish to me. Does that sound cultish to you? Like, if this quote was said by literally anyone, like without context, like if I hear somebody say this to me, it's like, who are you to tell me what I am and what I am not? It's golden cohort, like the core golden cohort. You're trying to differentiate people. I don't know. This feels very, very manipulative. I guess cultish was the wrong word. Manipulative. This statement feels manipulative to me. The numbers don't add up. On paper, that sounds reasonable. In practice, Intrepid's community engagement has been trending downward. According to Twitch Tracker, the last time they broke 5,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch was December 20th, 2024. Their YouTube recap views haven't hit 50,000 since before that December update. Most live stream recaps since then have been in the low 40,000s, peaking at 43,000 in July 2025. The more worrying number is participation. 2 live servers exist today, Lotheria and Shoal. Steven has previously said one server capped at 8,100 players, meaning a total of 16,200 possible testers, against the 130,000 claimed Alpha 2 testers. That's less than 12.5% of the player base engaged at any one time. That does seem a little weird. Did they even sell 130,000 Alpha keys? Maybe they're lying about that too. Marketing or advertising? Steven framed the live stream discussion around marketing, but Margaret immediately followed up with talk about an advertising buy. Those are not the same thing. Marketing is strategy, messaging, and positioning. Advertising is paid placement. If Intrepid's solution is to buy testers, that's questionable at best. You spend 9 years cultivating an audience that now largely skips your live streams and recaps. Instead of addressing retention, the plan is to spend money to acquire more testers. If the goal truly is fresh perspectives, there's a cheaper option. Give away alpha keys. That gets you new voices without burning money on ads. The community pulse. Okay, so they're just, they're just talking about, okay, never mind. This is like not really that relevant to what I wanted to look at. Now let's take a look at this Reddit post about all the other parties. So Jason Karamanis, he is a debtor. So is Yaya Holdings, they're a secured party. The debtor is Steven, sorry. The secured party is Karamanis, Jason. Yaya Legacy again, so twice. There's a trust and an LLC. What? So much circular finance going on here. The Employment Development Department, Sacramento County, California. Notice of state tax lien. Oh my God, they weren't even paying their taxes. Are you serious? Okay, it got terminated. No, that was in July. And then it's active again as of July 9th. Okay, what? Hey, Fagan. Based off of everything I've been seeing so far, and I am by no means an expert on Ashes of Creation. Like I mentioned at the outset of the stream, I wanted to look into it because I wanted to know what was going on myself, and didn't want to just take everyone, like those sensationalist YouTube videos where they're just like, oh, it's all done. Like these guys are scammers. They pulled, it was a rug pull, etc., etc. But based off of what I've seen so far, I would say I think Steven and the team were not very good with their finances to begin with. And it looks like, based off of what we just seen, Steven lied about the fact from the outset that he was funding the project himself. He did float the idea of possibly getting quote unquote friends to buy into the project who were interested in investing. But by then it looks like Yaya Trust had already invested. And for some reason, their interest wasn't being paid on the loan. Which seems odd considering the Kickstarter raised $3.2 million and the loan was for $1 million with 5% interest. So that doesn't seem to add up. It could be that they were already, there probably were other investors that we still haven't known about. And to that point, Vegan, like, just okay, so the Kickstarter, I do think that there is one sec, where is it? I had it open earlier. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up again. Okay. So in the Kickstarter, right? At the very bottom. So this is why I think there is hope. I honestly think there's hope that they will have to refund the Kickstarters. I based off of everything I've been reading, I think there's a chance. Okay, there's hope. There's no guarantee. There's no definitive yes or no because there's so much different language, okay? So one, they say that if it doesn't launch, we'll promise to refund all backers in full, right? And they also say, we are aware of risks and challenges and so on. Confident in our ability to release Ashes of Creation as a finished product. Come hell or high water, we're going to get this done. That's the thing. Okay, so that's the other thing that I wanted to point out. So if you go to Ashes of Creation, right? Okay. If I go here, if I go to their homepage and I go to news and I click on when they launched on Steam. So right here. In this, they say things like, so to answer, this is why I think there might be hope. How long will early access last? So what is early access? Why early access rather? Is designed as a reactive world, one that evolves, blah, 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 that makes community testing a core part of our development philosophy. Early access allows us to bring, they don't call them players, they call them testers. First of all, I think lawyers are going to pick up on this language. They call them testers directly into Vera during key stages of system building. By engaging with the community early, we gather critical feedback, identifying issues faster, and refine systems in real time. Every session bug report and piece of feedback helps shape each server's unique story unfolds. How long will early access last? Early access begins December 11, 2025, and will continue until the game reaches the level of quality, stability, and content breadth we expect for launch. So again, in this statement, they're saying that the early access is not the launch. I'm thinking they kind of didn't think about this language fully. And I think any lawyers that's worth their salt, like any class action law firm that reads this, will see they have a pretty, my guess is a pretty good shot. Well, I'm streaming this, so it will be saved regardless, right? Like, so this and the Wayback Machine, I'm pretty sure people are already saving this in case things like they go back and revert this stuff. And then they said there's no fixed end date. The roadmap ahead includes progression from Alpha 2 into Beta 1 and then Beta 2. And eventually a full release once we feel Ashes of Creation delivers the experience our community deserves. Hey, Sarada. I mean, so many people have clipped it. Like Imager has a clip of it. There's so many places where they've got him saying that he didn't have outside investors, and then he does. And Sarada, I'm pretty sure, isn't there that video game? Like, isn't there a lawyer on YouTube that deals with this stuff? I'm pretty sure he will be making a video on this as well. And just, I mean, as soon as, personally for me, as soon as I heard that he was, that's true. I'm pretty sure at least one is a bar certified lawyer. I wouldn't be surprised. Very true. Very true. So the only thing is, okay, so I'm sorry. I think ads have started. It's just started. So apologies. But basically early access begins here. It says that the only thing here, okay, so this part here, there is no fixed end date, I think is them trying to cop out of this. So like there is some language in here that kind of throws it up in the air as to what it is and what it isn't. Oh, 100% vegan. Yes, so it will go to secure creditors first, and then it'll go to customers or whatever, whoever's left at the end. So chances are that it won't go to, but then again, I think you have to remember that Stephen Sharif is who's listed on the Kickstarter. Let's see. Who created it? It was created by Intrepid Studios. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, because it is a corporation, because it is a studio, yeah, secured creditors will get whatever's, they're owed initially, and then whatever's left will go to everyone else. Sorry. I'm trying to end the ad. I don't know how to end it early. Like Twitch plays them no matter what. And to get rid of pre-rolls, I have to allow it to play ads, unfortunately. Like it does not let me do it otherwise. And I wanted to get rid of pre-rolls because those I find really annoying. No, I'm sorry. I left them on to make sure pre-rolls don't run. Lesser of two evils. Oh, what? I have not seen that, Fagan. I'm sure I will find that soon enough. He put it in an LLC. That's shady as F. So he knew this was coming. But like I think the language is here that would allow some sort of suit to pass muster, and like a judge to be like, okay, I'll hear this case, or I'll review this case. And also this whole talk about beta 1, beta 2. Okay, I'll look into it. I'll try to see if I can find something related to that. And eventually a full release once we feel so this beta 1, beta 2 language as well, it kind of harkens to the fact that it's not a fully, it's not a fully launched game, and the fact that they refer to people as testers. Even in early access, they refer to them as testers. How will the full version differ from early access? The early access version focuses on establishing, testing the foundational systems that define it. As development progresses, we plan to expand these systems with additional content, blah, blah, blah. The full version will reflect a more complete, refined, and optimized Vera built on years of iteration and community testing. Oh yeah, 100%. And then on top of that, here, what is the current state of early access version? So they're saying that it's an active alpha testing, meaning many systems are still in flux and subject to change. Testers, again, these are not players, these are testers. If you launch a game, you're expecting players, not testers, right? That's my argument here. Testers should expect unstable builds, incomplete content, placeholder elements, and regular balance adjustments. Realm wipes do not, and that's another thing. Like what MMO? Welcome back. Sorry about that. The only, like, to get rid of pre-rolls, I had to allow the ads to stay on Twitch. Otherwise, it doesn't let me get rid of pre-rolls. All right, so that it was the lesser of two evils. That's why I left the ads on, to get rid of the pre-rolls. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but realm wipes do not happen on a fully launched MMO. Right? I don't think I've ever seen a realm wipe. On a launched MMO. So I can't think of any either. So I think that's another big one here. That realm wipes will occur when necessary to support testing and data collection. The early access environment is intentionally raw and built for iteration. It's a testing experience rather than a polished game. So again, this language here tells me that it's not a launch. Personally, and I'm pretty sure a lot of, like, anyone reasonable would not see this as a launch. Participation during the stage is invaluable as we blah blah blah. And then here, the only thing that also kind of like puts a kink in it, I think, is this: beginning with purchases made on or after November 14th, our refund policy. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, server wipes usually are non-existent for like a launched MMO. Server mergers, yes. Server server mergers, or like telling you that a server is going to shut down, or a world is going to shut down and you need to move your characters. That's not the same as like a wipe, right? So I think that language is probably going to hurt them. And I think it makes a good case for like it's not a fully launched game, or it's not a launch. And then the other aspect is here, the refund policy changing with Steam's guidelines. Purchases may be refunded. We all know that this is not going to happen. Steam's literally going to refund anyone that bought this game, because Gabe's known to do that. Like, I think they did that with, what other game did they do that with recently? There's a recent game that they allowed refunds for, even though people purchased it, played it for way more than 2 hours. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he lawyered up, and he was like, his lawyer was like, you don't say anything, because you are literally, yeah, he's been lying from the outset. Okay, great. Nice, Fian. I didn't know they were already reviewing them. What bothers me, though, is that right now you can still buy this. Like, you can still get it on Steam. That shouldn't be the case. They should have just stopped it. Like, you can still buy it. Why, after all of this, is it still like live? And even on their website, like, it just seems wrong. Like, you can still buy it. Alpha 2. I think you can still buy it, but I think it sends you over to Steam. So you can no longer buy it on the website, but you can buy it on Steam still, which is insane to me. Hey, Morocco. Okay, nice. So you did get refunded. I would be very shocked if Steam didn't issue a blanket refund for this game. Like, I don't see them not refunding everybody for this. Steam has been, I think that's probably the case. I think that's what they're probably looking at. They're trying to figure out what happened. And I think this might, because I think this is the second game this has happened with, where, was it, what other game was it? That other one, Steam issues refunds for, this was 1 month ago. Oh, so this was 2 months ago. Steam is actually issuing refunds not based on playtime. I'll do a step-by-step below. Mine was on Steam Wallet around 25 hours. Steam support purchases. I need assistance about this purchase, something like that. I see that someone's offended because they're trying to... Okay, good morning. I am requesting a manual review of my refund request for the game, as recorded playtime does not reflect any real gameplay experience. Oh, right. Yes, that's it. Yeah, you're right, Sarada. Not New World Morocco. It was the day after. What was it called? The scam game. The day before. There was this game. Steam issued refunds on this. Because they realized it was a scam. And they were like, yeah, we're going to refund everybody. Steam. Where's the refund? So this was like Steam powered, and then you can't buy it anymore. Is no longer available, and then everyone got a refund, I think. This was like an asset flip. Like they literally used assets and then tried to sell it to everybody. And the game was DOA, dead on arrival. Yeah, I know. It's rough. I was holding out on getting Ashes of Creation until like at least beta or a sale. I didn't want to pay full price for it. I even contemplated getting Alpha 1 or 2 keys back when they were around on the website. And I was like, I feel like $200 is a bit steep to get into a game that I'm going to be doing alpha testing for. Arcade is still up. Where's Steam? Is it Arc? So this was the other, yeah, Chronicles. Is this the one? Arcade Chronicles? Look at all these games that I have in my library. Like literally all of these. I have BDO. I have Elder Scrolls Online. I haven't touched Elder Scrolls in ages. I was thinking about getting Enshrouded because that actually, Enshrouded looks like it's fun. I didn't even know this game was out. I didn't know. This is what you guys are talking about, right? Arcade Chronicles, or is it Arcade? Like the other one. Okay, I think I remember that one. Is this one? No, this is Arcade Chronicles. Oh, it's shut down. Okay. I think I played Arcade. Is that okay? Wasn't there an Arcade 2? I remember playing Arcade back in the day too. I think I have YouTube videos on this on my channel. I'm pretty sure I have Arcade. Let me see. I can't access it on this. Okay, so one second. Let me go to my other one. I'm gonna grab it. I'm pretty sure I have Arcade on here. I played it way back in the day. I am certain. Okay. Let me see. I hope I didn't delete those videos. Arc age. Yes, there it is. Is it okay, it's public. Okay, cool. I'm gonna grab the link so I can show you guys what I mean, okay? Okay, here we go. This is my video on Arcade from back in the day. This is the game you guys are talking about, right?
Hell yeah, 3 Moonlight Arcane Dust in a row. Nice.
This is the game you guys are talking about, right?
I was guaranteed some Moonlight.
This is Arcade, right? Yes, I remember playing this. I loved this game. This was such a fun game.
Well, how do I need a lot of it for crafting?
This was such a fun game. It was so good. I agree completely. Like the mounts, everything. Such a fun game. Okay, okay. I was not smoking something. This was me back in on my like old computer, sitting in my basement, my parents' basement, playing this. 11 years ago. This was such a game.
I'm 14 right now.
You were in an alliance with Steven? I was playing with my clan Magnus Legio. These were the guys that I played Planetside with. These were the guys that I played Battlefield with. And yeah, and
Sound like in the basement yelling all the way up.
yeah, this game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should have pretty well.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't care about that if I could find a free spot, I guess. Well,
Oh my god, nostalgia! What I remember. Yeah, this was a fun. So the house that John Moore lists as his office was sold on November 26th. Oh wow. Okay. For 5.5 million. Interesting. Very interesting timing for sure, considering all this came out at the end of January. But yeah, okay, so I do know which arcade you guys are talking about. And I remember the end game for this was like so awesome. And there were so many good cosmetics in this game. I just remember like playing dress up for a while. Yeah, arcade felt visceral, and the did they have skateboards? I don't remember seeing skateboards. Hey, how's it going, Lord? Yeah, I think I saw that video as well. The main way I've been following the Ashes of Creation stuff is, let me see if I can find. There's a playlist. This is on the playlist, right? Is it on a playlist? Okay, let's pull up Ashes of Creation in here. Or sorry, Arcade in here. No, what? That's not my channel. Videos. Oh, I'm gonna search in here. Arcage. So I only had 3 episodes. I definitely had more videos. I don't think I made them public, but I think I had like 11 videos. Because I remember getting to endgame in this.
I'm gonna go grab some food.
This was like the golden age of MMOs. Like this is, look at this raid.
Dude, that you can respec in any moment. It costs gold. What happens is you level up your ranks in each of the abilities that you choose, but when you spec into something else and spec back,
Good times.
you gain that rank for when you spec back.
Okay.
You do lose out by switching later on, but it doesn't. I don't know how long it takes, but it's not impossible.
My mic was horrible in this. I can hear myself breathing. Okay, enough of going down memory. Let's focus on what we were doing, which was talking about our Ashes of Creation. Okay. Even though it's a less fun subject, oh, there's some drama video. I saw a few of the drama videos about, and this is on YouTube chat. Sorry, guys. Those of you on Twitch, I'm chatting with Lord on YouTube. He's saying that he saw some drama videos about a guy say something that AOC was just barren and incomplete. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, and that was one of the Reddit posts that I was looking at when we were looking at refunds. Someone said that they got a refund for Ashes of Creation from Steam even prior to this news coming out, basically saying that they didn't get to play. Even though it's 25 hours, they didn't really play a game. They were just in there. That's it. And Steam issued them a refund. And to that point, I do think that Steam will issue a blanket refund for anyone that bought Ashes of Creation. I would be very surprised if they don't. And then secondly, I do think that there is cause, or there is a chance rather, that anyone who backed it on Kickstarter possibly will get some money back, because it'll go to creditors first, obviously, and then after the creditors are paid out, then based off of what they can get their hands on related to Sharif and the other directors, or the parties involved, they might be able to, issue some money back. But it's going to be hard to get at their finances, especially considering Fagan was saying that he put his house into another or different LLC just recently. But they have liens on the. They already have liens on the. On the studio, like they are owed money. So it's probably going to go to bankruptcy. That's what I mean. Like, I think Sarada, it is going to go to bankruptcy, because I don't think Steven or the team has enough money. Morocco, I think the core reason of all of this is that Steven Sharif and the management team of Ashes of Creation, and this is my take based off of what I've read so far, they lied about not having outside funding, one, to drive people to back the Kickstarter, because people who backed it were thinking, okay, this is already funded, he's funding it himself, he's not looking for outside investments, so he will have complete control. The team will have complete freedom. They'll have complete creative control over the project, and they want what the players want. They want a great MMO, so I'm going to back this. And he already had creditors prior to even launching the Kickstarter. Yeah, if he was the only member of the board, definitely, because I think this is another document that somebody shared on Reddit, which shows that the only director for Intrepid Studios is Steven Sharif, and there are no other directors. But then he says in his parting statement, really, where is it? Where is it? Did I close it by accident? I did close it by accident, didn't I? Where is it? Here it is. So he said that the board began directing actions that I could not ethically agree with or carry out. Maybe between that trust getting, what was it, 5.3% or 9.6% control of the company, they wanted a board seat, so they added a board seat, and they were on the board, and maybe someone else was on the board, and they wanted to, get their money back. So they wanted the studio to do things that would allow them to earn more, and as a result, they would be able to pay their loans out to them, or they would be able to get their money back, or earn something in the way of like a payment as a board member or something. I don't know. And that's another thing, Morocco. I don't know if they sold 130,000 keys, because in that previous thing that we were just reading prior to possibly you coming in, there were only 12,600 slots for testers in the two realms. So if you sold 135 or 130,000 alpha test keys, why would you not increase capacity to have more people test your game? So maybe they were lying about that. We don't know. Like, nobody knows about their books. Nobody knows what money came in. Nobody knows what money went out. So in that sense, there's no way to know whether or not that was accurate or not. At least not yet. When more information comes out, that's when we'll know. The way Stevens phrased this, though, it looks like he thinks that he'll come out looking good with discovery and things like that if this ever goes to court. But I don't know. I don't know at this point. And right here, this was 4 hours ago. Wait until there are more facts available before forming conclusions like this. The internet isn't kind to patients, but unfortunately the legal process requires it. You cannot imagine how difficult it is for me to stay quiet, but I must. When filings become public, there will be clear factual record for reference. So again, he seems to be of the view that he's going to look good if and when the record comes out. And yeah, I'm at this point I'm leaning more towards okay, I'm leaning more towards malicious. And the reason for that is because he lied from the outset. He lied about not having outside investors when he had them. Yeah, definitely won't look good. And I think the fact that he had investors prior to the Kickstarter even, and in the Kickstarter continuously telling people that they are not beholden to anyone. They will not have outside investment. He's funding it himself. This is just to allow more people to be hired. They were all lies. Maybe his intent was, yes, maybe I'll hire more people. We'll be able to earn more. I'll be able to pay those loans off, and then nobody will need to know about it. It'll all be fine. But he still lied, right? He still lied about that. And I don't have an X account, so Stephen Sharif has begun responding to accusations and public filing is coming from Icy Veins. Let's see. This was today at 1:44 a.m. He shared that many of the senior leadership resigned with him, blah, blah, blah. We know this. I have made a public statement. My next action will be a public filing. I hope at that point people have a better understanding of what happened. Okay, so he will make a public filing. Interesting. How's it going, Al? Optrix? Oh, that's a cool name. Also, apparently the investors eventually could convert their investment in company stock, which basically created this big bad board he's blaming, right? So if that's true, he created the problem from the get-go in addition to lying. I agree completely agree with that. He lied about it, and even if he thought with the Kickstarter he'd be able to get out of it, the fact that he wasn't paying the loan interest allowed them to convert to the common stock, and then after the amendment convert to the what's the term? Not common, but preferred stock. Then they got to convert it to preferred stock. They even have greater voting rights and greater control over the company. Yeah, Morocco, I would at this point not have any hope that it'll continue in any way, shape, or form, like in terms of development at least. I don't know how long they'll keep the servers open, but at this point, that's what it looks like. Obviously, there might be something that comes out that says like, no, we're not closing the servers. We're going to keep the servers open. We're going to continue development. But as it stands, it seems like development's completely shut down. There will be no new content. There will be no new development. And the game will just exist in flux or not exist at all, one or the other, until something happens. Yeah, I would be very surprised considering, I mean, this like they weren't even paying tax on time. Like this notice of state tax lien. Like this just tells you whoever was managing this company was doing a really shit job at it. Yeah, exactly, Owl. Same here. I was considering buying the game once it released on Steam, but then I was like, you know what? I want to wait until beta, at the very least, until it's in a more playable state, until there's more content. And now this comes out, and that's the main reason I'm covering it today. Like I haven't done any content on Ashes of Creations on my channel because I was waiting to start playing it, to start making content on it, I should say. And then this comes out, and I was like, I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to figure out what actually happened. So that's why I'm here today, streaming about this rather than playing like Dota or something else. So yeah, it came out of the blue. It was random. Like I honestly thought Ashes of Creation was gonna to make it. Yeah, it's very odd that it just out of the blue. And no worries. I wanted to know what was going on. And Serrano, that might be an indication that maybe they did have more people trying to play it than the server could handle. So maybe they were buying more server space and it was just lagging because they didn't have enough bandwidth. I don't know. But based off of everything else, I mean, the fact that he was lying about the fact that he didn't have any outside funding, I would be very. I think it's plausible that he or they, I should say, that the Intrepid Studios also misrepresented how many actual keys they sold. Yeah, this is I agree with this statement right here for this post. Intrepid Studios seems to have recurring problems with the state of California. Right now, it's suspended by the FTB. That means the company is stripped of any power to operate. So literally at this point, this was a year ago, they couldn't operate. I don't know how they're managing, but from experience, they'll be using a DBO or some other entity to get by. I haven't 100%, I haven't checked 100%, but I think one of these suspensions coincides with when they stopped selling skins with the excuse that they were remodeling the store or something like that. Interesting. Can anyone corroborate this? So where's the suspension? So lapsed, terminated, lapsed. Yeah, Legacy Trust is the preferred holder right now. Oh shoot. Sorry again. We'll hold off. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I think it should be done now. The ad. I was looking at the timer. Okay, it should be good, I think. And sorry about that. And yeah, that was the big thing. Like, thank you for the follow, Morocco. And that was the thing for me as well, was the fact that they were charging 200 plus for like a key, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to pay $200 to test your game. That seems like a bit much. I mean, I did buy, and thank you, Aloptrix, for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you. And welcome to the channel. You paid 115 Kickstarter. I really hope that they're able to get the Kickstarter backers their money back. It just sucks because there was so much false advertising there. Because he said, self-funded, we don't need any outside funding. We're never going to do outside funding. And they already had outside funding. They were already lying from the get-go at that point. Because, yeah, that's just a huge issue. And hopefully, based off of the other language that they have on the website, that's not very conclusive on whether or not it was a launch when they put it on Steam in early access. I hope that the Kickstarter backers get their money back. December 20. Oh my god. But I think the Kickstarter, they have to put the delivery date. Alpha 2, I think, was like 2025 or 2024, October 2024, was it? Okay, I know you say this, Morocco, but I have something to show you. And I was thinking about doing a series on this because I was looking at Kickstarter and I was like, because I was thinking of making a game. Obviously, I don't have the skill set to do it. So I was learning Unreal Engine for a while. And then I started streaming for this 365-day challenge. But that's neither here nor there. So I was looking at Kickstarter to see what types of games are coming out. Okay. And I was seeing like what, because I was thinking maybe I'll do a Kickstarter for it eventually. And where is it? More filters. Okay. There we go. Where is that game? This one. Epitome or Epitome. Like, this game looks like a scam to me. So this game says that it's an immersive MMORPG with AI powered NPCs. Okay, cool. And then it's got all this stuff here, and there's no gameplay. I see all this, but this is not really gameplay. Like, you can do an animation like this in Unreal in like 20 minutes if you have a good VFX artist. So this is not really gameplay, right? I think they're trying to build on the hype, Mr. Man, from the Witcher 3 or Witcher 4, I guess you could say. Witcher 4 showcase where they were showing that the NPCs, it looks like it's in Fagan, yes, it looks like it's an Unreal asset flip. Because this pack, I think Fab Store Unreal. Okay, so let's take a look quickly. So if we go to the Fab Store and we go to look for like desert ruins, okay, I'm just gonna do desert ruins or desert architecture. Let's just do desert. No, nothing. 3D, nothing. What is this? Stock? Oh no, I don't want a stock lands. Right? I just want desert. Okay. Desert ruin. I'm sure I can find it. Let's see what that looks like. That's like this hieroglyphic looking thing. This one looks like it could be that. Yeah, I'm sure if I tried to find it, I could find it. Or maybe Desert Temple. That's a good point. Okay, this looks like a lot closer to that. This one, maybe? No, not this one. Let's see. New World, ESO 2, and Lord of the Rings MMO were already canceled even before AOEC crashed. Oh, yeah. I think that's the main thing to take away from this. Don't trust Kickstarter campaigns unless you see gameplay. I think it's this one. This one looks like it. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Very similar. Like literally that. We found it. It took us like 3 minutes. We found it. It's the Pharaoh's Legacy Egyptian Temple Mega Pack. And Morocco says, I might be exaggerating, but I sort of believe this whole AOC incident is going to kill. I agree. But people said that with the day before for any other games. The good old this time is different. Yeah, exactly right. There's another one on Kickstarter that I personally think is a scam. And Epitome, this looks like it's an asset flip. I don't think they have anything. They're saying all of this stuff is going to be there: flying, riding, fishing, mining. sailing. Like you're gonna have water already in there from the get-go. Yeah, the day before definitely looked sus from the beginning, especially when they did their gameplay change, like release. That looked really, it looked nothing like what they were saying it was going to look like. This is the biggest red flag for me when you have stretch goals like this and you have these overly complex systems, and then you're locking pet system, you're locking comprehensive crafting system. Like, is your game never going to have a crafting system? How is it going to be an MMO? Like, an MMO needs a crafting system, right? Guild system, 4 additional maps. Maps for an MMO? Like, shouldn't it be zones or something like that? And I think AOC, the biggest thing for it was, I think the marketing was very sus from the get-go. Like, they were already selling skins in alpha 1, even before alpha 1, right? And thank you for the follow, Fagan. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Did any of you play PlanetSide or PlanetSide 2, by the way? Because that's where I've seen Margaret from, and she was like the creative or marketing person for AOC as well. Oh, 100%. I don't think anybody's going to Kickstarter, like, but I don't know. This one definitely seems like a scam to me, and they've already raised, so they've already been funded. They got funded in 44 hours. So a lot of these backers are probably not going to get anything, unfortunately. To the temporary battle. Ashes of Creation seem to be following the model of oh yeah, definitely. I think I'm gonna start. I might start looking into these and making some YouTube videos on them. Yeah. So this one's funded. This one's probably gonna be the next one that we hear about. It looks like, and then I think it was called Sail something. Yeah, Ahoy. This one. I think Ahoy is also a scam, personally. I know it looks very good, but this game does not seem legit to me, because what they're promising you, I don't think is achievable unless you have, I don't know, like 1,000 people working on this, or even if there's 100 people working on this is going to take like 30 plus years to achieve, I feel like. So they've already hit their pledge goal. They're gonna have arena dueling, and these guys are smarter than AOC, I feel like, because they're following when I looked at this, they're following the Star Citizen model. They are going to release an arena mode where you can, sail your ships around and fight them and do like combat, which is an easy enough thing to code, I would think, right? Like, that shouldn't be too difficult to code, and it's an arena, so it doesn't need to be a vast open world. It doesn't need to be the entire map. So in that sense, it's easy to do. You can placate enough people for a longer period of time, get more money in, and then, and this is also another big one for me. Like, if you've never backed a project on Kickstarter and you just start one, I feel, even though I would be doing this if I did one, but I feel like this is a red flag too. If you haven't backed anything on Kickstarter and you start a project, I feel like that's minimum viable product is usually not just like a map in Unreal or any other development kit. Okay, you guys might hate me for this, but I have not played RuneScape. I think it is free to play, right? Maybe I should try it out. Everyone says RuneScape is great. I have not played it yet. I've played a lot of other MMOs, but I have not played RuneScape. And New World was the closest thing. I didn't know RuneScape. Okay, New World was the closest. Okay, I did play a lot of New World up until the expansion for the up until it went south, basically. For Boomer Serrano. Fagan says, what happened to the MMO Pantheon? Pantheon. I don't remember it. Let me see. Pantheon. MMO. Rise of the Fallen. MMORPG. It's in early access, it looks like. There's a, let's see what the dev diary. Most recent one was January 30th, so it's still in development. Okay, so it's hard to get into it if you haven't played it. And I think I might start doing a series, Lord, on this stuff. This is very interesting. So it looks like this game is still in development, guys. Pantheon, if you have played it, please let me know what it's like. Fagan, did you play it already? Or have you played it? It's in early access. How do you play it? Okay, so you have to buy it. Oh, it is on Steam. Let's see what it's all about. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Okay, this just looking at that video, I'm not too into it right now. I'm gonna turn the music off in case there's copyright strike. It does seem to have a lot of content. But yeah, the graphics look pretty bad. This reminds me of what was it, Chronicles of Valeria? That playtest that they showed with that dwarf thing. Or not Chronicles of Valeria. What was that other game? But yeah, this game, it looks, and they're using the same footage, it looks like. Okay, the video looks worse than the game itself, from what I can tell at least. The screenshots look pretty decent. What about the mixed reviews? Let's take a look. Right? PoE definitely is in a whole other genre, I feel like. Path of Exile, as a free-to-play game, has so much content. It's insane. Perfect World, I remember Perfect World. That was an interesting game. I think I played that as well for a little bit. Didn't play it too long though. The Visionary Realms, I loved EverQuest. So this was kind of like EverQuest, okay. I think I would have to play it to give it like a full on, like to actually see if it's good, because the video I feel like doesn't do it justice. I think they need to update this trailer. This trailer doesn't seem to do it justice. They're showing something that doesn't look very fun. Like I want to see, yeah, and it's not even the right size. The text isn't. They need to update that for sure. Okay, so you guys' first MMO was Perfect World was your first MMO. Okay. How would you, okay, so this is a question that I always have as well. And I know we're going off topic a little bit, but we'll get back to Ashes of Creation after this. What would you define as an MMO? Like I always find it's a difficult question to answer for me personally, because I think the first MMO RPG I got into was Lord of the Rings Online. But as an MMO, I think even like an FPS would be considered an MMO, right? Unless you're just talking about MMORPGs. Because even now, like I think for Twitch itself, Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile are considered MMO ARPGs. The terms like evolved, but I think here we're just talking about MMORPGs, right? So in that sense, I guess MMO would be that. But I'm pretty sure this game's gonna be a scam too. Like I don't think it's gonna happen. Endless con. Okay, nice. Okay, Serrata says it has to be a shared world where you have several interactions with other players and long-term progression. So that's the other thing for PvP. Do you guys prefer it? Okay, ARPGs. Yeah, I personally don't think ARPGs should be considered MMOs either. Tag deeper, deep Bert. Tagged Eep. Oh, I don't even know how to say your name, but I feel like you're trolling. Please tell me you're trolling, because that question seems like it's disingenuous at best. Unless you're serious, like are you seriously asking that question? Because if you're seriously asking it, I don't think you should try to help the company by purchasing it, because I don't think, with the entire development team leaving, with everyone being laid off, with the leadership leaving, it's going to be a good, like a good investment to give further money to an entity that likely is a shell corp, like basically a shell of its former self at this point. Basically, yes, Rana. The only person who'll help, yeah. I think at this point in time, it's probably not a good idea. Wait to see what actually happens. Wait to see what comes out. And then based off of that, I would make a decision on it. But at this point, definitely, I would say definitely a no. Do not put money into it. Yeah, I would say it's not worthwhile at this point in time. And Bjorkson says it feels like he got his money out before. Otherwise, where does the board come from? Also, and Bjorkson, I don't know if you were here earlier, but we did find, where is it? This document, and then when I searched for Jason Karamanis, I also came across this article, and basically it looks like there was an investor prior to even the Kickstarter launch. So he had $1 million in funding from someone from Yaya Legacy Trust even prior to launching the Kickstarter. So on the Kickstarter, he said he had no other outside funding. So he lied from the outset based off of all of these filings. Small loan of 1 million and then another million after that. Don't forget, he had another million coming after that. And then Yaya Legacy got an ownership of Intrepid Studios up to 9.1 or 9.7% in preferred stock as well. Yeah, unfortunately, but hopefully that money does come back. So this is a key thing, like, such as why did Intrepid Studios not use the Kickstarter money to pay off the $1 million debt? Because the reason this question's asked here is because they were owing them an interest on that loan, but they weren't even paying them interest. And once the Kickstarter wound up, or wound down rather, they would have had enough funds to cover that loan, but they didn't pay that. And Bjorkson, yeah, so the other aspect of that is, yeah, the money's pretty much gone. Hopefully though, like, yeah, there's some justice for like people who spent thousands, because I know there were tiers that were like in the thousands, right? So hopefully those people at least are able to get some semblance of that back. Unless they already met with the team and stuff, then they might be like, oh, we delivered on that. The other aspect of this is the only reason they got a stake in the company is because of the fact that there was a clause in their agreement that allowed them to purchase some shares of the company. No, I think Soren, I think Bjorkson was saying like maybe that's why they wanted the shares. And Tag Deeper, I don't know if the game servers will be up in the future. We actually don't know any answers with respect to that. It just depends on what the new owners of Intrepid Studios do, because clearly Stephen Sharif is out. Clearly, all of the other upper management are out, and everyone else has been fired based off of what we know so far. And to that point, they could choose to just not just shuttle it and then like sell it for parts. So 5 of the 10,000. So yeah, I'm pretty sure those people are going to be the ones that are like, I want that back. Or it might have just been themselves. They might have put that money in to make it look like there were backers that were, purchasing those. Who knows? There could be a slew of things that happen in relation to those. I can't fathom myself ever spending 10,000 on any game. I say that, but I know I probably spent a lot more on Dota 2 skins. Well, not a lot more, but I've spent a lot on Dota 2 skins, so I shouldn't say I can't see myself spending money on a game to that level. But yeah, I can see there being some shady stuff done there, but I know for a fact some people, especially for Star Citizen, spent thousands of dollars buying like the armadas back in the day for the clan. Because they were like, oh yeah, we're all going to be flying around together and mining and all this other stuff, so we need the bigger ships, so they purchased like the larger ships. So I wouldn't be surprised if some people did that for sure. On a weekend-long gaming session, including a campaign of D&D Pathfinder set in Ashes creation during the launch party weekend. Oh my god. Well, did they ever have this launch party then? Because that's another point for the game never launched. If they didn't have this launch party, then the game didn't launch, right? So that's another point for like Kickstarter people to be like, give us our money back. I can imagine, because there are people who already spend crazy a lot on Switch. Yeah, 100% Sorana. I know of a few people that spent a lot of money on Star Citizen. I spent $125 on it. I still have my ship. I fly it around sometimes. The game itself feels like it's going to be good when it finally releases fully, because right now the content is like not that much. Yeah, I can play Star Citizen. Exactly, I can play Star Citizen right now too. I just find starting out in Star Citizen is overwhelming, because even though it lets you rent a ship or like fly your ship, there's not much else. Like I don't know how to do the missions. I wish there was a better tutorial system. Remember the skins people bought and then they started to make new skins first, and so yeah, Bjorkson, yes. Star Citizen is a functioning game. Like, you can play it. It's legit in that respect. But I don't think Ahoy will ever get to that. Actually, they've raised like 3 million. How much did they raise? 1.1 million. Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to get to that point. Yeah. I know that's I was just gonna mention that actually, but then I decided not to. I find that kind of it's kind of lazy development. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, we'll get the veterans to teach people how to play versus just having a good tutorial. Um, so back to Ashes as well. Like while we wait for these, I noticed ads started playing, so I'm gonna wait for the ads and then we'll get back into this. But basically, so far, in why is oh, that's promoted. Okay, so this is the message from Margaret. Well, this chapter has come to a close. My time in Intrepid has officially ended. To the Ashes community, you are some of the most passionate, dedicated players I've ever seen in this industry. I genuinely wish I could have done more for you. I gave everything I had and did my very best with what was within my power. And I ask one last favor of you. Please be kind to the developers. We are people who have families who have just lost our jobs after pouring our hearts and souls into Ashes of Creation. To my incredible game services team, you are an absolute AAA team, talented, kind, collaborative, and just genuinely good people. I'd take each of you with me on any project any day. I care so deeply for all of you, and I know our bond is one I'll carry forever. I'll never forget our time together, and you know where to find me if you need anything always. As for how this all ended, I don't really have the words. Oh, shoot. Okay, I had a feeling ads were going. Thank you, Dag Deepert, for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream and the channel. I'm just gonna wait for the ads to end. I really wish there were no ads. Twitch is annoying like that. YouTube doesn't have ads most of the time. I know it plays them once in a while, but not often. So it's really annoying. 29 seconds before we get going on this again, unfortunately. I hate ads. I hate ads. Sorry, all. Had to enable to prevent pre-roll. Okay, and I think we're back. So apologies again, guys. I wish I could turn off ads on Twitch fully, but if it will then do pre-rolls, and that's really annoying when you join a channel and you get pre-rolls. So I left them on to prevent the pre-rolls from being there. But this was the message from Margaret, and basically, everyone got laid off, is what she's saying. I don't like these types of posts because it's kind of like you're kicking someone when they're down. Like people had faith in something and they believed in something and they were hoping that this time it was different, you know? I mean, I can understand that. It's important to keep some semblance of like optimism in life, to think that people aren't always there to scam you or like to screw you over. So it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Requiem of a Dream. Narc is vindicated. I remember Narc used to make a lot of content for Ashes of Creation. I used to watch some of his stuff. It was cringy but funny at the same time at times. And then I think he stopped making content for Ashes of Creation, right? And then this is, I think this is a better use of a meme. It's like, yeah, you're not better than anyone if you didn't, you know, or smarter than anyone if you decided not to back a game or purchase a game. Oh, he deleted his YouTube channel? What? Are you serious, Vegan? When did this happen? Yeah, I don't see it. Why did he delete his YouTube channel? Oh, that's stupid. What? That's so people on the internet can be ruthless, but I guess people in real life can be too. But that's unfortunate. He's a funny guy. Yeah, I mean, understandable. You don't want to deal with all that hate. Yeah. I think this is incorrect. I think it might still happen. Yeah, it's because there's no repercussions, right? Like there's no consequence to your actions if you're just saying it from behind a screen. And I think we were talking about this as well regarding MMOs in general. Like right now, a lot of people might be asking like, are MMOs even worthwhile to make, or like, are they even good, or should they be made? And I think if you look at the rise of how many people use AI companions or like AI chatbots as their best friend, it shows that like humans need that connection. And MMOs, I think, are the best place to build those connections with like-minded people. For us, like at least for gamers. Like if you're a gamer, you want to play with other people who enjoy games, right? And MMOs bring you together and let you do difficult content, and that builds bonds. And I think it's pretty important, especially nowadays, more so than in the past. Even I would argue. The board composed of me and my husband. What? John Moore. Oh, that's it. Okay, John is his husband. Okay, I forgot. Stephen was I don't even know how to say it without being politically incorrect. Sorry. I can make a limited statement on my personal capacity on behalf of the company regarding the situation. Control of the company shifted away from me. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And the board began directing actions that I could. Okay. Phew. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I don't know what's okay to say these days and what is not. It's kind of messed up. I would use a lot of words because I feel like they lose their power if you use them, but I tend not to because of the fact that I don't know if it'll offend someone or not. I could not ethically agree. So this is the thing, right? Like this document kind of blows a hole in his statement. The fact that him and his husband are the only people that are listed as directors or like even as officers for the company. I don't either personally. Like I have friends that are gay, but I don't. Some people find it offensive. I don't know what it's just just to prevent any issues like that and not have to deal with that stuff. I just try not to say it. Yeah, so I think this is like a big hole in the whole statement that he made. Unless there is a board and maybe Yaya is part of it and we just didn't know or nobody knows. But the fact that Intrepid Studios lists just him as the director, yeah, that makes sense, Bjorkson. I agree. I think I'll start doing that moving forward. Try not to offend people that I'm close to. That makes sense. And then here, what is this? So FTB suspended, yeah. So they were suspended from conducting business. This was in 2024. Interesting. And despite the company being suspended, they now requested reactivation late October or last October 7th. Here's the document. So this was right before going on to Steam, it looks like. Right? Reservation owner. Yeah, thank you, Morocco. Have a great day. It was nice chatting with you as well. And good luck at work. Have fun. And hopefully we'll get some more developments in the meantime throughout the day today as well regarding what's going on with Intrepid. Is proposed name being reserved for the purpose of reviving a suspended facility or fortified entity? Yes. So it was suspended and they reactivated it in October. And this was 2024 actually. So this was like way back actually, before even going on to Steam. You can be late with payment, thousands of things can happen to you, but to get to the point where the FTB suspends you, it's a very long process and it happens due to recidivism. If you look back at the history, they were almost suspended on 2 other occasions. Also last year, they were reported to not submitting annual accounts. So I forget who asked, is it malicious or is it ineptitude? It's both, I think. Malicious on the part of Steven for lying about the fact that he had backers or he didn't have backers when he did, and ineptitude in terms of like not being able to manage a company, and the number of employees I guess they had. Maybe they grew too fast. I don't know what they did wrong, but clearly they did not know what they were doing. To get your company suspended, yeah, it takes a lot. You basically have to be in non-compliance for a while. I think they give you a lot of time to comply. Another thing that did come to light in its day is Steven's relationship with Django, with an MLM company that ended very badly. I know those people, they sold fruit juices that they said cured cancer. And the thing is that Sharif has always said that he was just a salesman, that he wasn't a CEO or executive. It's true. But he was indeed one of the most prominent agents in the MLM world, not only in Django, but globally. Look at these rankings where he appears as top along with his mother. People who join a pyramid scheme are deceived individuals. The guy's photo that show you in meetings are proof that the product works because the guy has made millions. A cockroach. I think the reason people are mad is because a lot of people had hope that this game would come out. They had hope that it was a legitimate project. They had hope that the game would be made and it would come out. But unfortunately, it seems, at least right now, that they were wrong. I think there were a lot of people actually that thought that this game was going to work. I personally thought it was going to work out too. I just did not get into it, or I didn't buy it because I was waiting for beta. I was thinking like beta would be the time to get in. That's what I was personally waiting for. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of people in my shoes who were thinking the same thing. They were waiting for more progress on it before they decided to jump in. Maybe that's partly why it died. I don't know. But maybe if they had more funding, maybe they had more people playing, but I don't know. And Bjorkson, yeah, that's a valid point because they spent money on it. They expected something for it. And Fegan said, I wish when an MMO died, they would just release the source file for people who care to keep them alive. I mean, the modding community would go ham. They would probably make it better than these guys would have made it, honestly. But then I think they have to sell it for parts if that's the thing. Like that's probably why they don't release it. Was Wildstar even good? I remember it's a Ubisoft one, right? Is it Ubisoft? Yeah, it was a Ubisoft game, right? I think. NCSoft, sorry. NCSoft, yeah. Was it good? I never played it. I remember hearing about it. And I don't think I've ever heard anything about it outside the month it released. Yeah, a lot of people liked it. Yeah, Bjorkson. Yeah, I think I was along those lines as well. Like in the sense that I wanted it to be in a more stable state where progress and stuff would carry on. And that's why I was waiting for betas, because I thought alpha was too early to get into it. And that's why I didn't purchase like the alpha keys back when they were 120, $200. Because I was thinking this is too much to pay to test a game. If they want me to test it, they can give it to me for free. You know what I mean? Like I'll test it for free because I'm spending time on it. Time's valuable. And a conqueror says you played okay. Oh, nice. So you got a refund. Did they ask any other reason? What was the reason you gave for the refund? By the way, I'm just curious because I want to know if Steam's gonna start honoring like literally everyone for refund. And in the time that you played, what did you think of it also? Because I haven't personally played it at all. And I think Fagan, you've played it quite a bit as well, right? Like, what are your thoughts on it? What did you think of the game? Did it seem like it has potential? Or does it seem like it has potential? Where is Steven Sharif listed here? They said he's in the top 10, right? I don't see him. Oh, there they are. They were number 13. And they earned 350,000 a month. They were scamming a lot of people. Holy. All I have to say is it takes a certain type of person to sell snake oil, which essentially what this MLM was selling, and make $350,000 a month on it. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I would not trust a person like that with my money at all. That being said, how he conveyed himself and how he holds himself out to be, it's hard to say that I wouldn't have purchased it. Like, what I'm trying to say is I was going to buy into Ashes of Creation. Like, I thought it was going to be a legit project. You played 20 minutes and you uninstalled? Okay. So you didn't really care too much about like what was going on until it was in a better state as well then. Yeah, his mother was already in the top solo. There's even a video of her talking about how her children help her use social media to go further with her business. Wow.
Hi everyone, this is Liz Pratt from workwithliz.com, and I was just getting ready to go to a meeting and I'm sitting on the couch and my dog is here. Not sure if you can see my dog in the video, but I just was thinking about how thankful I am for getting back into network marketing, getting back into this industry, and how many people we've been able to bless and how our lives were truly blessed by getting back into this. For those of you who don't know, I started
Okay, I want to skip this part.
years old I was, and I wanted everything because I wasn't, or I would never go through and developed, reintroduced to this opportunity from the Sharif family. And I
this is his mom, it looks like.
Ali and Lisa for meeting my husband, taking a chance on him, inviting us over and telling us about this great opportunity and how they run their business, and just taking that chance on us and introducing us to what they did. And once we got back into it, after such a long break, everything's a little different now. We have the internet and long distance unlimited plans and all that. Back when I did it, we didn't have any of that. Everything, we were spending money on direct marketing, mailings, cassette tapes, and all of that. So this is definitely different, but it's great. And all the same principles apply. So I just wanted to give a thanks so much to the Sharif family, to Sharon Sharif, who's one of the top in
this
her
is not
company.
her.
And if you don't know who she is, she's on the Forbes top 20 MLM list, along with her whole family, Tim and Stephen and Mark Sharif. And we're just thankful that their family has helped us, has taken us in, has mentored us into this company, and shown us what to do. We know that they now travel with their family. They enjoy that lifestyle. I want to say unlimited income. They create millions of dollars every year, almost monthly, in this industry. And we wanted to learn that.
That is ridiculous. Django was selling people with fake tonic that they said cured cancer. Now think, who are the people that they're selling this to? People who have cancer. You have to be a horrible human being to do that. And it was a family business. I'm sorry, like, that's ridiculous. And this is the guy that was like, I'm going to make this MMO. That's ridiculous. I mean, like, if you're selling this to someone who has cancer, you're literally giving them false hope. They might stop going to chemo. They might stop getting treatment because they're like, I've got this. There might be a few cases where their body, through mind over matter or like something, like their cells decide to fight it off, but I don't know. That's
so
ridiculous.
We're so thankful that they've taught us and helped us while they now get to travel and enjoy their lifestyle. We are still growing our business, my husband and I, and what we want to do now is we want to open up what they've taught us. We want to share that, and if you want to say pay it forward, right now we're looking for 2 to 3 people this month that we can actually help get started in their business.
There you go, the multi-level marketing aspect. Yeah, and the thing is, I feel like they weren't even doing the selling because it looks like they recruited her and now she's trying to recruit other people. Basically, right? And then they had these people sell that stuff because it looks like his mom and him were near the top of the pyramid, basically. And that's why they were making like $350K a month. Whereas she was recruited by them, which means she's close to the top, probably at this point. Yep, exactly. And okay, so the way MLMs work is partly that you get, there's no royalty. I don't think. I think the way it works is you have to sign up people, right? And whatever they pay, you get a percentage of that. And then whatever they sell, you get a percentage of that. So they're recruiting people to sell on their behalf. And then those people are recruiting other people to sell on their behalf. And I forget the exact math, but I think it takes like, I think it's 7 levels before you're reaching like billions of people. So there's no way to ever recruit enough people if you're on the lower end. And those people end up buying all the product and just holding on to it. And those are the people that usually go bankrupt and stuff because they can't continue to buy product. They continue to buy product, but they can't sell it because nobody wants it. And obviously the ones that are good at selling it, they sell it to people who are vulnerable, again, in this case, which is still like evil, for lack of a better word. How many levels of multi-level marketing before all people on Earth are done? Based on mathematics of exponential growth, it takes roughly 13 to 15 levels. Is Tate's thing a multi-level marketing thing too? Or is it just like selling the course to you to teach you how to get rich? Or is it like you get sold the course and then use, I didn't know it was a multi-level marketing. Okay, interesting. I never looked into his stuff because I was like, he's an idiot. But yeah. So as soon as you get to like 15 levels, I'm assuming his mom and him were at like the level 3 or something. As soon as you like get to this level, 6 billion, more than 6 billion people need to be recruited, which is impossible. Yeah, so this is another aspect according to I hate looking at these results using AI review overview because then you're not looking at the actual web pages. Those web pages don't get traffic. The ads that they might have don't get traffic, and those it's like you're killing the internet basically by reading this. I try very hard not to do that because yeah, the whole ecosystem's gonna die. I honestly don't know why Google promotes this because their whole business model is built on this. It makes no sense to me. But anyways, back to this. What was I saying? Yeah, so the other aspect is like they're constantly selling products, but the people that are being recruited in later, they buy the product and they just hoard it because they can't sell it. Nobody's buying it. And then they leave the multi-level marketing, but then someone else comes in. So the churn is pretty high as well. Yeah, this is the math for it. You want to be up here if you're in a multi-level marketing. I think Avon is still around. Yes. There it is. The best selling beauty makeup, blah, blah, blah. I think Herbalife is also still around. Yep, it's still around. These companies are like the scums of the earth. I hate them so much. But they still exist, unfortunately. There's so many of these. It's ridiculous how many of these companies exist. This is it's called a pedigree collapse. Okay, I did not know that. If you assume that each person has two parents and their parents have two parents going back 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, then by the time you reach the 12th century, you already have more than the population who has ever lived on the planet. TLDR, people are inbred. Oh my god. All right. Thank you for dropping by, Fagan. Appreciate you. Appreciate the chats. And see you next time. And just so you guys are aware, also on Sundays is when I'm doing streams like this where I'm just going over topics or like discussing things that are going on. Other days is probably going to be mainly Path of Exile 2, Dota 2, and then midweek on Wednesdays, it's going to be midweek Middle Earth. So it's going to be Lord of the Rings Online. And I'm always open to try other games. So if you know of like some good games that are fun to play, I'm definitely open to trying them out on Saturdays as well. And Bjorkson said, when you look at this, the South Asian call center scammer look like angels 100%. Fagan, nice. Ashes of Creation. I heard it's a good game. You played it for 20 minutes. You got bored, is what I believe your pitch was for me earlier. You should try it. Nice. But yeah, I hope in some ways it gets saved, but in others it's like if it was not fun, I don't know. If it was not in a playable state after 10 years, that's kind of ridiculous. But the thing, Bjorkson, is I don't know if you watch Scammer Payback. I don't know if you watch Kitbogo, but those people are pretty bad. They're stealing from seniors. They're stealing from retirees. They're stealing from people who are, at a stage in life where they need all the money they have to survive. Yeah. So I don't know if I think they're all in the same vein. They just have a contempt for their fellow man, and they just don't care about anyone but themselves. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that have been, shown to be that in recent months and the previous few years. But there are good people out there still. Yeah, so yeah, the fact that he was part of that is a big red flag in itself. And then moreover, it seems to run in the family, blah, blah, blah. I already explained in detail in my video the parallels in Steven's strategies in AOC with how Ponzi structures, MLM, and pyramid schemes work. One last curious thing. Remember the Venma nutrition scam? The FTC shut down that company for fraud. Well, in the trial document, which you can see below, the properties of the company's partners appear. Well, one of them has shares in Intrepid's... What? The guarantee of a Delaware company... Yaya Holdings was part of that? For Venma Nutrition? This appears to be a trust. It could make sense if the family has their assets managed by one of these fiscal officials, or it could be the guarantee of an external investor. I haven't delved deeper. Yeah, most people use that as a cop-out, right? But then he had no reason to stay in that life and help her scam more people or recruit more people. I wonder if this has been auto-dubbed now. Because he said it's in Spanish.
Han pasado ya 8 largos años desde...
So there's no auto-dub on this, unfortunately. Oh, okay. We have subtitles. Let's see. It's been a long 8 years since... Okay. Sounds good in therapy. Oh no. Yeah. I won't be able to understand any of this. I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. I wish he had turned on auto-dub. Dude, you can turn on auto-dub. It'll dub it in English. Okay, anyways. But the information he provides is pretty good here. Did a deep dive. A lot of people looked into this, and I'm still surprised that people still went and bought this. Like, there was so much information. If I saw this post, I would just be like, I'm never buying this game. Another ad. Sorry about that. Waiting for the ad to end. And then we'll continue with more of this. So I think we've got enough on this to figure out what's going on. Like, it looks like what happened was Steven lied initially about having investors. He then did the Kickstarter, didn't pay those investors. I don't know where the money went. No one knows where the money went. They say they got 130,000 people buying the alpha and the beta keys. But if they had that, that would be like $30+ million or something, right? Because they were like $200 each. So 130,000. Let's just say each one's like $150. That's $19.5 million. And even if you do a churn rate of like 1.5 million a year, in 10 years they shouldn't have been able to they shouldn't have burned through all that. So it doesn't make sense if that's the case, that they ran out of money or like something else happened. And why were these loans not paid? There's a lot that doesn't add up in terms of exactly what happened with the finances. Like, there's a lot that does not seem to add up. Let's see if we can find the churn rate. What is the churn rate for a company with, how many employees did they have? Like 100 employees developing a MMO. So that upkeep fee, okay, let's see. That's not what we want. What is the, I don't think I'm using the right term. Burn, cash burn, right? Let's try that. Okay, so let's see. Ashes of Creation. Okay, so this is related to Ashes of Creation. Okay, cool. I had a feeling this would pop up. 51 days ago. Another Ashes of Creation lawsuit. Contract disputes are fairly common in business, and this will be resolved in a similar manner to other disputes Intrepid has seen in its 9-year history. 800K is a week's worth of OPEX for the studio. Anyone promoting concern over this should consider that. Okay, so 800K is a week's worth of operational expense for the studio. Are you kidding me? They're burning through almost 4 million a month, or they were burning through 4 million a month. I mean, my math's off obviously because it's 3.2 million, but even if you had 250 employees for real and on average each made 7,000 a month, that still leaves 1.5 million unaccounted for. That does not, my point here is like, that seems excessive. I don't think any development of any, like 800K a week. Yeah, more than 40 million. That's ridiculous, right? Am I wrong in this? Like, that should not be that high. Yeah. At least you need another 2.5 years, more than 100 million funding left to go. That's insane. For example, might make sense if an auto body repair shop. Okay, so somebody said a very rough rule of thumb is that total cost to an employer is typically double the salary. Okay, so if we take this as like gospel, right? Then I can see getting to this point. But then if you don't have a runway, you've done it too quickly. You've grown too quickly. Like, it was just mismanaged as well at this point. Like, in what world? Yeah, no wonder the board wanted money back. Makes sense. Like, whoever the board was, they must have been like, what are you doing? 800,000 a week? Are you serious? What are you developing? Like, we haven't seen meaningful progress. What is this? I'm just trying to quickly see if there's anyone who has like a meaningful comment. He's probably getting a salary of 500K a week. I guess. Oh god, this is a funny comment. That's funny. Servers alone can reach 500K depending on the scale. Without data, it is impossible to guess and could be anywhere 200K to 2 million, to be honest. I feel like these people are covering too much for him. How much? Okay. Let's just find out. How much does it cost to rent a server for a MMORPG with 16,000 players? If the AI overview is correct, those people are assuming that it costs way more than it does, because to run a server for an MMORPG with 16,000 concurrent users, several $100 to tens of thousands of dollars per month. Not hundreds of thousands, mind you, per month, not per week. The cost is highly variable depending on the complexity. Exactly. So low end approximation. If using efficient distributed architecture and cloud providers, costs can start around a few $1,000s monthly. For high user counts, high end, $10K a month per player basis. Some estimations for smaller mid-tier MMO suggest a server cost for a few thousand concurrent players can run in the range of 0.63 to $1 per concurrent user per month, including network. That's so cheap. There's instantly like a basic search on Google, and we have debunked this. Server costs alone can reach 500K depending on scale. Yes, depending on scale. What are you, like, running 1 million players concurrently? This is too much. Okay, anyways, let's keep going. Some people will jump through any legal or like any mental do mental gymnastics to make it make sense. This is another good point. Why do they blindly believe that they have 250 employees? This was always just too unbelievable for me. For what they accomplished, it never felt like they had that many. I would agree with this. If Fagan's what he said and what a cockroach said, he said it was probably had potential to have a small time player base, but it was far from a game. So if they had 250 employees, it should have been closer to a game at least at this point. I think this is a reasonable take. There's facility costs, software licensing costs for like the office team, CRM, accounting, and payroll packages, etc. But the biggies are unemployment insurance, health insurance, 15% employer side of FICA, 401k match, optional, many other benefits. But historical, he's going into all these details, right? But Terrorium says that there might be fewer than like 100 employees that are actually Intrepid employees. The rest are outsourced contract workers. Exactly. New World had so much content, and it was a polished game. Combat in that felt so good, especially when they released the two-handed sword. Oh, that was fun. That was so much fun. I think I have a short where both me and this random dude that I met, we both swung at the same time. I'm gonna find it right now on my channel. Okay, I'm gonna search for it. New World. Where is it? That was a fun moment. I think it was not this one. Where's the short? Yeah, this is it. Yeah, we were both like trying to kill the same guy. Wait, that was awesome.
We synced that up. That was exactly at the same time, Snuddy.
That was so much fun. That was just so random. He was just running there, and we both synced it perfectly. Oh, what the? Didn't mean to click on that. But yeah, that was a clip from way back in the day when I was playing a lot of New World. Yeah, I don't believe the numbers either. I feel like there's a lot that's gonna come out, and I think him saying all the stuff now is gonna come back to bite him by the looks of it. Unless he was very careful about everything that he did, and maybe he is telling the truth. We'll find out though. I agree with the statement. Should have raised red flags for sure. Like this should have been the red flag. The fact that you're burning close to $1 million a week, that's ridiculous to me. This sounds like a big boy company, or this sounds like a company who wants to run like a big boy company without the cash flow to back it up. Steven sounds like someone who always wanted to be a big CEO but doesn't know what it takes to actually run a big company. Yeah, this is probably a big part of it. The fact that he lied about stuff, and it's almost like he was trying to fake it till he made it, and he doesn't just. It looks like he doesn't have what it takes to make it, because I think he tried to grow the company too quickly, too big too quickly. I think this is probably the closest to the truth, and we'll probably find out that this is the case. He tried to make it too big too fast. Thank you for the follow. And yeah, I think that's probably what we're gonna see, Bjorkson. I think that's probably what it's gonna be. This is another good napkin math right here. 40 million divided by 20,000 players is 2,000 a year. Unless Ashes was going to start making 166 per month from every single one of their players. Oh, cheers. Thanks. Appreciate it. See you in the future. And like I mentioned, if you missed it, basically most of the time I'm going to be playing PoE 2, and then Dota 2, and then LOTRO on Wednesdays, and then Saturdays and Sundays are open to just whatever, basically. And that's the main reason I was streaming this today, is because I wanted to learn about what was going on. Appreciate it. Appreciate the chat. Thank you for the compliment, and see you in the future. Thank you. So yeah, this is, I think, a valid point here too. Like, you can't operate an unprofitable company using HCOL wages. It's usually about 10x multiplier, so it'd actually be about 16 per month. But I think they started with 200K. SteamDB was showing 16K before the recent news, so I'm guessing it was really closer to 120K concurrent users. Still trending downward without any endgame content. I think 20 to 60K is in 6 months is realistic. Yeah. Thank you for the follow, Excel. Welcome to the stream, and welcome to the channel. And I'm assuming you've been here for a little bit, but yeah. Thank you. When said this and thought it was a flex, I knew this game was done. The flex at face value is just astronomically high per month. Yeah. I think he was trying to show that they had a lot of money. I agree. This sounds like a flex. A very foolish flex to make, because it's like, what are you spending that money on? People probably started questioning this as soon as he said this. And that's probably when a lot of red flags started going up as well. Yeah, that's a lot of weird stuff. I think at the end of the day, we're going to find out that it was just mismanaged. And the other aspect is he was not very truthful in terms of what was going on with the company. And he clearly wasn't sharing that with his quote unquote investors either, who had put in millions into the company. Someone, okay. Oh, it's a YouTube. Let's see what this video is about. Oh, they took it down. The devs of Ashes of Creation, the crowdfunded, long in development, highly controversial, deleting all critical posts. So this was like 2 months ago. Yeah, I remember this drama happening as well, where they were not allowing anyone to be critical. And I think people were getting banned in the Discord as well for being critical of Sharif, right? Or Steven Sharif. Yeah, a lot of people went to WoW after that again. Okay. So there was that going on. And then Let's see what else is happening in MMORPG. AOC's funeral. Oh my god. It didn't take long. 56 minutes. At 1900 hour CET, February 1st. Okay, cool. So 8 hours ago, Kira reveals some additional details on what happened with Ashes of Creation. Also says there indeed was a board, as Steven sold the company months ago, according to internal documents he has seen. Interesting. So Kira has seen some internal documents that suggest that he sold it. The new owners wanted to downscale the team and ship most of the studio's development work overseas. He says he has more info coming out, but he is working on confirming things with receipts. He goes on to talk about how the employees are being completely screwed and likely won't be paid for the last month of work. That's messed up. So the employees are the ones that get shafted the most. Steven's probably got like enough money going from his time there. Yeah, this is a very valid meme. Kickstarter scams, online co-op, instance MMOs, multiplayer ARPGs, Star Citizen, multiplayer survival RPGs or RGs, and Eastern pay to win. Which do you choose? It sucks. Don't have much of a choice. Steven right now. Oh my god. Okay. All else, like, it's a sad thing that this is happening, but the memes are pretty funny. Here in my garage with my Kickstarter millions and a dream that's still in alpha. Oh my god, that's so good. Oh. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Fully funded, by the way. It's only an alpha. It's not yet a finished product. I got hundreds of hours of entry, therefore it wasn't a scam. I'll get my money back when we win the class action lawsuit. I think there's a real case to be had and made for the class action lawsuit. The language on the website, as well as in the original Kickstarter, suggests that this is not a launch, to me at least. Obviously, there might be legal minds out there or lawyers out there who, purchased or backed the Kickstarter, and they're probably looking into it. The worst MMO formula ever created. New MMORPG. Endgame raids, daily, weekly quests, flying mounts, raid logging, endless vertical progression, seasonal content. Yeah, I think I agree with most of this. I just think that endgame raids, I think, are great. Daily and weekly quests, I don't like. Flying mounts, I think, are okay if they make sense in the universe. Raid logging, I don't know what that means. Let's look up that term. I don't know what that means. You log out as soon as the raid is over and only log. Oh, yeah, that's kind of annoying. I can see why that would be annoying. I don't like that. Endless vertical progression. Yes, agree. That sucks. Seasonal content, I don't mind. Seasonal content's fun. It gives you a reason to come back if you don't want to just be playing that game forever. So I would say like 3 of these 6 I think are okay. Or 7. 3 of 6, yeah. Yeah, why don't we like endgame raids? I 100% agree with this. Endgame raids are awesome. That's where the most fun is had. Like, beating that insanely hard boss is where it's at. Or MMORPG. Oh my god. Celebrating the death of This is an interesting post where someone was trying to promote Lord of the Rings Online, which is a favorite MMORPG of mine, which I do play on stream. I started a Hobbit Burglar recently, but the most upvoted comment is that he wants a more modern MMORPG, not an old MMORPG like Lord of the Rings Online. Even though the quests and stuff are great, the game itself looks kind of janky. Yeah. A lot of talk about other Lord of the Rings MMORPGs, but yeah. LOTRO did deserve better, but anyways, AOC New World, wow. What is OSRS? I don't even know what that is. This is a summary. Okay, the summary of Ashes of Creation so far. This is the best summary that us and the public have put together. Based on public information, this story is evolving. Despite claiming full funding, lawsuits piled up against Intrepid Studios and or Steven. SATA Systems sued for $850K in unpaid cloud fees. Aetna filed a debt collection suit. Streamline Media sued over unpaid Battle Royale assets. California EDD filed $50K in payroll tax lien starting in 2020. The Yaya Legacy Trust, a 9.7% shareholder, sued in 2024 after being denied access to financial books and bank statements. Steven's other entity, Trek Holdings LLC, was suspended by the state. On December 11th, Intrepid rushed an unfinished Alpha 2 onto Steam Early Access, technically launching the game and voiding the Kickstarter refund promise. Not that it was legally binding anyway. On January 16, 2026, Karen Borrego, co-founder of Vema, an MLM shut down by FTC as a pyramid scheme, connected to Steven through the Django Vema world, filed a UCC lien securing her claim on Intrepid's assets. It is believed this is why Intrepid Studios now has a board of directors, when that wasn't the case previously. The board's plan was to downsize the majority of the studio and outsource the development of the game overseas. Steven quit. Most of senior leadership quit in protest. Within 24 hours, the plan changed and they are now shuttering the studio tomorrow by giving a WARN Act notice with about 48 hours of notice for February 2nd. A WARN Act notice is supposed to give 60 days notice, but that can be excluded if the company no longer has the funds to operate. So that tells us that they don't have the funds to operate. That is why everyone is saying the servers are turning off tomorrow, but no confirmation yet. On January 31st, Steven resigned via Discord, blaming the board for unethical decisions. The employees are not getting paid remaining wages or PTO. No refunds. I disagree with that last part. I think, like I said, technically, I don't think it was a launch based off of the language on the website, in the FAQ, and the Kickstarter itself. And then also this person's comment here: don't concoct a story that makes him out to be a victim. He has been lying and making mistakes for a long time. Then somebody responded at the beginning. I guess I could say their usernames. Broxigar Z. The beginning, it's been from the beginning. People who actually think this wasn't the plan from the start are more delusional than the White Knights that existed to protect Steven during. This was also going to be what it was: the referral attempt, the BR, the high cost test phase, the Steam launch. This has been what it was from the very, very start. Do not claim this is just happening today or just happened this year. No, 9 years ago, maybe 10. This plan was likely concocted by people within his inner circle, given who is connected to the exit plan now. All of this didn't just pile up in the last. All this kind of stuff only happens if you aren't on the up to up from the start, especially if you're trying to. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that comment. Like, it's okay. So I want to read what Project Oedipus said. Everything that I said is what we have been able to find so far, like from public records about lawsuits, sale of his home to an LLC belonging to his husband, and from content creators like Kira and Nice Gaming who have inside sources. If you find any evidence that contradicts anything in this summary, then let me know and I will edit it. And I think the main gripe for Tenthal is that it seems like he's trying to defend Project Oedipus is trying to defend Stephen Sharif, but I don't think that's the case. He's just laying out what the facts are, and he's just saying this is what's going on. So nobody just notices lawsuits coming for them from large businesses. Aetna is suing you. You run yourself at first into some problems and thought you could somehow get away from them. That is true. The writing had to have been on the wall for a while. Of course, they had been getting sued since 2024, so that does check out. Sup, Steven, throwaway account, nice scam, delicious rug pull too. Solid 8 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10 because people are functioning brain could see this coming a mile away. If you bother to read my other posts in this thread, you'd see that I thought his connection to MMOs was highly suspicious even before all of this happened. I'm not a fan supporter of the game. I'm just trying to put together the pieces of information that are reliable. You literal mouth breather. Okay, so they're fighting now. Nice. Stephen lied. He claimed there would never be a need for VC, never be a board. Game was fully funded. He has always been a liar and a narcissist. He is fundamentally incapable of being what people hoped he would be. Ironically, though, if there had ever been a board from the beginning, there probably would have actually been a game a long time ago. Again, this is why we can never support the donation-based crowdfunding model. If a product needs your funds to be completed, you should be an investor with a return, not a patsy. Yeah, that's a valid. Like, this is a really good point, actually. I never thought about it like this. There should never be a donation-based crowdfunding model. I agree. Like, if you're paying into it if there was just one tier, right? It's like you'll get the game when it launches, and that's what you're paying into. That's different from what they were doing. And I think if that's the case, crowdfunding is completely reasonable. It makes sense. You'll get the product. If you don't get the product, then you get your money back. Simple, done deal, right? But if you're giving all these other packages and they're, incrementally more expensive, I don't think that should be a model. I think in those cases, you should be getting way more bang for your buck, and you should have a chance to be a part of, getting returns from it. But then again, even if you did that, and I'm going to use crypto as an example here, even if you did that and you were like, we're going to share our returns with you, we're going to share any revenue we earn with you, you can still do a rug pull. It doesn't detract from it. Like, you can always do a rug pull regardless of how this functions. So donation-based crowdfunding model is no different from an investor-based crowdfunding model, other than the fact that I guess an investor-based, you would have additional protections as an investor because you would technically be a creditor as well. But actually, that might work. Now that I think about it more, if you were in fact a creditor because you were an investor, then you would be guaranteed your money back at the end of the day versus never getting your money back if the funds didn't go through. It's a very good point. I like that. I like that a lot. That's a really good point. And this is from Project Oedipus again. The part of this that I haven't been able to put together yet, though, is if the board had the money to outsource the game's development to the Philippines, how are they able to issue? How do we know it was the Philippines? How are they able to issue a warrant act with less than 60 days notice, which you normally need to do? The company doesn't have the funds to continue operation. Stephen is not the victim. Nobody said he was. I don't read this as them saying he was a victim. I guess the way he said it, Stephen quit. I don't think that's that's just taking his statement as face value. It's not, I guess it's not technically wrong. This was a day ago. All employees let go. And Yeah, I hate Steam release reeked of last ditch pump and dump scam. Honestly, all ASC players should take part in class action lawsuit against this crap. I'm really excited to see where it goes. Slowpoke. Yeah. He doesn't understand that it's already done. It's still, yeah, I agree. This is so weird that it's still purchasable on Steam. It should not be. There's some more history and other information. Okay, let's read through this one. And then I think we'll call it a night for today. Or I will call it a night for today. Sorry, guys. And then tomorrow I'll be back with tomorrow's stream. Depending on what's going on, we might dive into this more, or we might play some games. Let's see what happens. So here we go. Inside Intrepid Studios downfall, history, and other information. So this is probably going to be a lot of stuff that we've already, figured out today in our deep dive, but there might be some new stuff. Where to begin? I'll try to keep it to the facts of Intrepid as a company, and more importantly, Stephen as a CEO and salesperson. The information I have is from longtime employees. Interesting. Again, okay, I'm going to read this, but I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, because we don't know the sources for sure. We don't know if this person's just making stuff up. Likely they're not, but it's also likely it's possible that they are. Stephen is a manipulator and a liar and deserves everything that is happening right now. I, however, feel for the employees who do not deserve the treatment they have been through, as explained below. Make no mistake, Stephen's statement about being pushed out that he couldn't ethically agree with, and I personally think this is probably true, decisions by the board is a straight up lie. Resign in protest is also a lie. The leadership team resigning in protest seems unlikely. More likely is the leadership were all let go with the rest of the employees. They were just given advance notice that the company will be filing for bankruptcy. The truth is, there is a board and it does have phantom investors. It's not just Stephen. This board gained a majority share in the company as Stephen was forced out. He was fired. I can see this happening because he wasn't, achieving anything really at the end of the day. If they had majority stake because he wasn't paying them interest, eventually they would have gotten to the point, and they probably got together and they're like, yeah, let's kick him out. The studio finally ran out of money by the gross incompetence of Steve and Jacob Buchler, and everyone had to be laid off. Almost everything Steven has said or mentioned has been lies or extreme exaggerations of the truth. Remember the post from a couple of weeks about we had team restructuring and doesn't reflect the health of Intrepid? Lies. Steven is a classic narcissist and egomaniac who still will not take responsibility for any faults at the company and blames anyone but himself for the inevitable demise of Intrepid. Based off of what I've seen of Steven, based off of what I've read about his MLM stuff, based off of the fact that he had these shadow investors already, or these investors prior to even launching the Kickstarter, and then continually saying in the Kickstarter and beyond that there would never be additional investors, that he was funding the game himself. Yeah, I think this checks out. The absolute incompetence exhibited by Steven and the higher ups of the company should be studied. Steven is first and foremost a salesperson, a very good salesperson. He had everyone believing in the stream. Arcade 2.0. It's not surprising that he way overpromised, cannot keep his mouth shut, has a massive ego, and is extremely manipulative. Here's a good example. He promotes 401k matching at the studio as an attempt to lure talent. What he doesn't say is that the 401k is graded matching, and the vesting period of 100% of match 401k money is 6 years, which is the maximum limit the IRS allows a company to take. What does this mean? Essentially, the majority of the people about to be laid off or who have been laid off, who have taken part in the 401k matching program, will be paying most of the match money back to Intrepid because hardly anyone has worked there for 6 years. So, based on the grading, if you have been there for 2 years, you only get, say, 20% of the match money. 4 years, 50%. These percentages aren't exact, but that's how it works. So he's even scamming the employees, if that's the case. And we'll find out more about this as the story develops, obviously. But if this is the case, MLM. As soon as you see someone who's worked in an MLM and was making good money in an MLM, run. Do not do business with said person because chances are they will scam you at some point. And I say this, and I'm pretty sure this blanket rule would be, I think it would work. Just do that and you should be fine. If they didn't make money in an MLM and they just did it, I think that's reasonable. Hey Octavius, how's it going? Oh, cheers. Thank you. Appreciate that. How are you doing? Oh yeah, 100%. Achilles is like historic. One of my favorite warriors of all time. And Octavius also has a lot of history. Oh yeah, I love Greek history and mythology. I'm not too well versed in it, but I can definitely hold a conversation, I would think. And and yourself? I'm assuming you do as well, right? Ah, you have a real ancient Greek. Oh, cool. Nice. Have you played? Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna take a little tangent here, because have you played Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Of course, nice. Yeah. And what did you think of it? 100% nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, one of my favorite Assassin's Creeds. It's in my top 5. I've been thinking about playing it more. Yeah, I would say I think the only reason it's not in like my top. The only reason it's in my top 5, so it's like it's in my top 3, I should say. And the only reason it's not my favorite and my top AC game is because AC2 has a special place in my heart. Because that was the first Assassin's Creed I did 100% on. So Assassin's Creed 2 is my favorite, and then it's Odyssey. So it's number 2 for me. Even though the mechanics and everything in Odyssey are more fleshed out, I feel, than AC2 even. Oh, cool. Okay. What would you say is your second favorite after Odyssey? And did you play Shadows? I liked Shadows up to a point, but it got really boring after Yakuza's initial quests. But yeah, I'm gonna continue reading this as well while we chat. Odyssey, Mirage, Valhalla, 3 remastered, Black Flag, Rogue, Freedom. Okay, cool. Shadows. Okay, you finished 100% on Shadows too. Dang. Okay. Yeah. The biggest gripe I have with Shadows is like you can randomly kill people, and then they're part of the quests, and then the quest just gets completed, and it's like, oh, I wish I'd gotten the story for this. Especially like the family, where you can choose to spare some of them. Oh yeah, that's true. Some of the servers are gone. Hey, how's it going, Ghost? And some achievements have multiplayer achievements, yeah, which you can't do anymore because the servers, yeah, you can't play with other people or Ghost, I haven't played it either personally, but I was thinking about getting Ashes, and then I heard the news that the company was essentially shut down, and I was trying to dig in. That was the stream today. Basically, all of it was about and trying to figure out what was going on, and this is like the summary that we're looking at right now, and basically it looks like, and I'll give you a brief breakdown of what I've discovered so far, or learned, I should say, not discovered, because I didn't discover any of this. It was everyone else doing the digging. I was just reading. The creator or the director. Oh, dang. New World was a lot of fun when it was good, like when it first launched. I played a lot of it. By the end, I hadn't played it at all. Like when I went to mobile and all the other jazz, I stopped playing. I stopped playing before that. But that was a great game. Like, I don't think I've had as much fun in an MMO. Like New World was, it felt like an MMO. Like you could go into a town and you could just sit there. Like I spent more time in town just talking to people than I did questing. That tells you a lot. Like that's what an MMO should be all about. Like it should be like you're hanging out, you're having fun. Every once in a while you're doing a raid or like a quest with everyone else. That's what New World felt like, and it was fun. I'm just sad that they didn't let it continue. I think it could have been great. But yeah, enough talking about nostalgia and like missing that game. Yeah, it was fun. To which point, like I want to show you like a quick, and I do have some live streams on the channel, on my YouTube channel still from New World days. So I'm gonna go there quickly and I'll show you what I mean. So like these are the types of things that I experienced in New World, okay? So this was when they released the double or like the two-handed sword, and I was just like hunting a mob, like this mob, and this other guy was hunting it, and we both ran towards it, and this is what happened. That was awesome.
We synced that up. That's exactly at the same time, Snuddy.
And that was just like a random dude that I ran into while doing quests. And because New World had VoIP, like you could talk to anybody, and like us syncing that attack, it was just cool. But like those are the types of things I remember from that game. But back to Ashes, yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun back in the day. And when I say back in the day, like 3-4 years ago, so it wasn't that long ago. So the absolute incompetence exhibited by Steven and the higher ups at this company should be studied. So he was a very good salesperson. Yeah, so he scammed. It looks like he's also scammed his employees because he said that they would be 401k matching. But that didn't vest until 6 years, so they have to pay some of that back when they got fired, or they will have to pay some of that back once they got fired. A majority of people at the company were drinking the Kool-Aid. There were a number, however, who saw what was happening behind the scenes. It may have seemed externally that Intrepid was stable, mainly because of Stephen's lies, but Intrepid has been in financial trouble for well over a year. Here's a small list of what it was like from the inside. Junior developers, engineers specifically, or especially, or very inexperienced developers were in charge of creating extremely important and complex systems. Character Creator, the failed questing system that was supposed to mimic New World questing, board quests. Also, the mesh merge system displayed years ago continued to be an absolute buggy mess that was handed from engineer to engineer in an attempt to fix it or to have it completely rewritten. Echoing the above bullet point, a lot of systems were rewritten multiple times. Over-reliance on AI when ChatGPT first came out. Higher-ups thought AI was going to save a ton of money and made efficiency skyrocket. Shockingly, it did not. It created more headache and more bugs. Understandable. It's a glorified LLM. So obviously it's just going to tell you what it thinks will work. It doesn't know how to code properly. I've been told that one of or multiple engineers accidentally uploaded the entire Ashes code base to a public Git repo over a year ago. If that's the case, somebody probably would have found it by now. I'll take that with a big grain of salt there. Some senior engineers were grossly inexperienced. The good ones were stretched too thin. The bad ones managed to fail their way to leadership positions. What? That's kind of interesting. Testing of systems was almost non-existent. The promises made by Steven and the aggressive timeline made by producers didn't allow for proper testing of systems. Leads were delusional in regards to timelines. A couple of them thought the game would fully be released a couple of years ago. A lot of people working there were nice and very talented. However, there were a huge subset of Intrepid employees that had massive egos that was impossible to work with. This led to communication issues across departments and within departments and tons of time wasted. A lot of these points I feel like are just hearsay, not necessarily true, possibly a grain of truth, but we don't know. Design decisions were always up in the air. Designers and Steven were too stubborn to change their ideas of what Ashes should be, which is another reason why the systems in place were always half-baked. Some thought Ashes was too hardcore for mainstream audiences. Unfortunately, most high-level designers thought that hardcore was the only way to set Ashes apart. Around the release of Alpha 2 in fall of 2024, paychecks, performance bonuses, and the Alpha 2 release bonus were delayed multiple times. Steven's multitude of suave excuses included blaming the bank or the accounting firm that dealt with Intrepid payroll, always with the same salesperson language. To his own employees, he never took accountability or was transparent with the state of the company. Again, a release bonus to employees for the release of Alpha 2 was promised many times, anywhere from 5% to 15%. Employees tell me that this bonus has never been paid out and will never be paid out, as Steven kept pushing back the promised delivery date and said bonus, blaming the banks for reasons like the company's funds being tied up in investments. A couple of excuses were to not detract from Alpha 2 delivery, or so we can focus on bug fixes for the live Alpha 2 servers. This is when the financial troubles at Intrepid were really apparent. Years ago, leadership feared a mass exodus to Amazon Games. Steven was ordering the leads to tell everyone in their department about the massive payday they'd be getting when Ash was released. Bonuses of 100K, 300K, 500K more to get employees to stay. Live streams. If an employee was going to lose faith in the company, it was after the live streams. Most of the game systems never fully worked and have never fully worked. Anything shown on stream that looked to be working was shown in an extremely isolated production test level, meant to be shown for the live stream only. These live stream levels were in isolated environments, bug fixed in those isolated environments, and rarely merged into production. Okay. Almost all of the live streams had Intrepid's internal back-end server infrastructure, IntrepidNet, disabled or not being used during live streams. The vast majority of the systems were not using the IntrepidNet because most of the existence of IntrepidNet never worked or was in extremely buggy state. Dynamic gridding wasn't in Alpha 2 because it never worked or promised. If there was a motto for Ashes of Creation, it was, we'll fix this later, for almost the entire project. A lot of this is, I feel like, not necessarily very relevant to what's going on. Like, I guess this is what he's being told behind the scenes. The networking team, although talented, was way overpromised and were never grounded in reality. Apparently, IntrepidNet was incredibly hard to work with. Know why there's little to no instance content, because no one was able to create the instance content given the state of IntrepidNet. Apparently, Steven had planned years ago to expand to the second floor in the building they used to be in. However, in an effort to save money, they stopped that expansion. Even more telling of financial trouble is that although Steven and other higher-ups were always staunchly against remote work, as of a few months ago, the company was planning to shut down its office and go fully remote. Some employees reported that Steven promised for months, years ago, before financial troubles were evident, that a chef would be provided to the studio. Months and months went by with Steven saying he was still sampling the menu. Eventually, Steven just stopped talking about it, and it never happened. Interesting. Also reports that Steven gave special treatment to all of his former guildmates that he hired to work on Ashes. I'm unaware that special treatment was, but did hear that some employees were given the ability to work fully remote against the strict company policy. The studio was full of yes men and excuses. Look at what Jacob says most of the time about the state of Ashes. You're not happy with the graphics, neither are we, but we're focusing on performance instead. There was always an excuse for why something was in bad shape, and that whatever the criticism is against Ashes is exactly what Steven and the other directors had planned for. I've been told that behind the scenes, Steven and the directors were having meetings and they were in full-on panic mode and frustration at the state of the game and the systems. Also, in the notice of layoffs to the entire studio, reports are that no one will be receiving their last paycheck, PTO will not be paid out, and the company is filing for bankruptcy. Steven deserves all the criticism he's getting. Not mentioned, however, are the higher-ups producers headed by Jacob B. that were unable to rein in the massive scope creep and just let things happen. They deserve just as much criticism as Steven, although at the end of the day, the buck stops with him. He started the studio 10 plus years ago with an MLM money, which he then turned into real estate money. This wasn't his first time conning people into believing him, but hope is his last. This is the fault of his extreme incompetence, massive ego, and inability to keep his mouth shut. I wish there was a different outcome, but anyone working at Intrepid who wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid knew this was coming. It was never a matter of if, it was always a matter of when. Reads like an LLM fine-tuned on Kira content for our old bot account. Man, can we just get a good game? Okay, so this was a bot account. I'm sorry for reading that if that's the case. Let's see. Oh my god, 0-day Reddit age. I guess I should look at this stuff. I apologize. I got caught. Oh, I got had by AI. Somebody just created an AI account and then did that. Ashes is over. When the world needed him most, he vanished. Weak equality, Star Citizen, Ashes Creation, Dune Awakening, Random Eastern Muck MMO, the last one like quarter. The MMO game genre suffers because you guys let any new entry into the genre rob you, then dip. We need to be more like the MOBA or FPS community where it's bad. If it's bad, then we simply point it out and don't give it the time of day. So somebody tried a refund. And they got it. All right. I think, there's an MMORPG that surpassed 550,000 players. Or 500,000 players. It looks interesting. But it looks like it's a mobile game. That's probably why they had so many users. Yeah, 9 days ago. Or I guess this was not 9 days ago, but it's been lying about it for a while. So yeah. I think I'm going to call it there for today. And see how it develops. And maybe I'll do a video on YouTube as well related to this. As I've learned, I think, a lot today. And I hope we all learned a lot today. Wins how wins. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. And yeah, I will see you guys in tomorrow, rather, or later today when I stream tonight, because it's already the 2nd today. Because I am doing the 365-day challenge, so I will be streaming every single day. So if you have suggestions for games to play on Saturdays or topics to discuss on Sundays, because those are the days where we'll be doing streams like these, interesting topics to cover, please let me know. And I'll be more than happy to do deep dives and things like that. Appreciate all of you hanging out. Appreciate all of you chatting. It was nice to see you in Ghost and Lord. As always, thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Hopefully we'll get some more news, and bye for now.